We're here. Let me get that out of the way here. We're here, I promise. I wanted to show these guys a video. Real quick, let me get the music out of the way here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Twitch. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning to all of you that are joining us in there. Let me turn the music off. Let me set up Colette's camera. Pink looks very good on you. That is nice.
Thank you.
I like pink, too.
I love pink.
This is my first Run the Jewels pink sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a second Run the Jewels pink sweatshirt because I kind of like pink sweatshirts.
I think that we were like vibing today.
We are.
That we just matched automatically.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
And Tom's got the black to match our pink and black.
I think Tom always looks pretty handsome.
Tom is just always in a black.
I think he always looks pretty handsome, but he doesn't like compliments, so I'll give it to you to pass on to
Colette,
him.
I am the most boring. I bought the same. I have like 15 of these black polos, work
at least
polos,
you got the
and I
good
wear
ones.
jeans, and then I just wear the same
It's like a
uniform.
uniform.
It's fine.
And
It's fine.
And for whatever reason, I love the uniform. It's like I don't have to think about it. And then I hear other people say that. I'm like that person.
You are
and
like
then I
that.
look at that person's personality. I'm like, I don't want to be that.
So you want to see the opposite? This is a good warm-up.
I want to have fun in life.
Well, then let me tell you fun.
My son has fun.
He does. We have to talk about that at some point.
Daniel has fun.
You want to see it? Well, it's not really. Sometimes it's sadness. So I was setting out I set my clothes out the night before because Maisie does
so
it.
Cute.
Yeah, it is. It's adorable, right? Like a little doll. So I go into my closet and I'm like, okay, Maisie and I are watching the Magic game. Oh man, they are not doing good. Let's set out one Magic outfit. And then let's set out one they're going to lose outfit. I'm wearing they lost. Detroit put it right up our butthole. We are not good, and we got to turn it around. I'm not abandoning ship like Dom from the Supervillains. He's like, I'm not watching it anymore. I'm like, dude, it's only 6 games in.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You got to stick with your team.
Yes.
They're going to work it out. They're going to be just fine.
There's so many games.
There's like 70 games. We've only lost.
You can't be a fair weather.
We've lost 5, right? I think we've lost 5, or we're on the slide for 4. We're on the. We won't. It's 5 games in. We've slid 4. It's fine. We're gonna right the ship. But then I laid this out, so I didn't get to wear my Magic outfit. But I laid 2 outfits out the night before. So when I get up, I walk and like I know exactly what I'm gonna wear.
That's so cute, Dan.
Like,
I do
I'm
that
so
too.
adorable.
I lay my outfit out the night before too.
You should lay your. Well, you
Can
don't
you
need
guess if I do that?
why bother? Why bother? Yeah.
Okay, that's a good warm up. All right, so we know we're gonna start with tales from the Clown Cast, and then we're gonna do.
And
I
then
have
some
the email,
emails,
right?
But we could talk a lot about it because there's a bunch of different subcategories of
Great.
what you guys talked about.
Can you hit the AC real quick?
Yes,
because I can feel it turn off. Because my genitals start to sweat from these computers blowing hot air on my pants the whole time. It's like, What if you came in here?
I would not have thought of.
You come in here one day and I'm just wearing just literally briefs with just a cloak over my pants like our judge. I should wear a judge's robe. We had a judge in DeLand that he told us, this is an inappropriate thing to tell kids, but I remember one time at a party he told us that he just wore underwear under his robe.
Really?
Because it got hot.
Wow.
Why is he telling kids that?
I don't know.
Okay, that's
I don't know. It's a different time.
Hey, kids, get over here.
It's a different time. All right. Do you want to start?
Yes.
You can hear okay? You're good?
Perfect.
All right. Here we go. In 3, 2.
Welcome to Love Thy Neighbor, a relationship show.
Yeah, man.
On the couch with us, as always, Colette Fair, longtime relationship therapist. How you doing, Colette?
Great.
Dan Dennis is here.
Always good to see you, man, and always good to join you guys for another Love Thy Neighbor.
I'm Tom Van. Let's get right to it because Colette has been in California doing media for your book.
Some would say she's been held captive. You were held hostage for 8 hours doing
8
media.
hours is ridiculous.
But I need to give you flowers first because, and you're going to go into telling the tale. When I saw you pop up on this particular show, I would say your publicist or whomever got the door open did a pretty good job because I know of this show.
Yeah.
This is a very, some would say it's controversial.
Yes.
I would say it's a controversial show.
Yes, and it's not my typical milieu.
Yeah.
If you will.
Okay, all right. So I had never heard of this, obviously. I don't know. I've never seen these people.
I'll explain to you why I know.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I listen to a lot of podcasts about podcasters, right?
Okay.
And I try to keep my thumb on what's happening in the world. And Tom and I always talk about delusion, how like there's so many shows about everything. But one of the ones that I find the most entertaining and funny, there is a select group of shows that are like made to make men more alpha or made to weaponize men or have them take their manliness back.
Yep.
You know, the white man is dying, Tom. Like, it's never been more horrible.
Oh, man, that's me.
Help, help. white man. Oh, it's so bad being a white guy. Oh, it's so tough being a man. And the sky is falling, and we're under attack, and masculinity is under attack, and there is a pie sliver of these particular shows, and I happen to think that all these guys are clowns, and I listen to shows where the hosts clown on these guys.
Do they know about all the privileges, though?
Yeah,
that's what I know.
But yeah, I listen to a lot of
so many.
I listen to a lot of podcasts or a lot of YouTube videos that basically take small segments of the show that you were on, and then they dissect how stupid these guys are. So when I saw you on there, I was like, holy smokes, how the hell did you get on there? Because, oh man, I'm going to watch this.
Oh my God, that's so funny. See, I didn't know that there was parody of little sections of it.
Well, everything has a show, right? Like, so for instance, you know, in the podcast world, you have, let's say the biggest podcast is Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
There are, under him, thousands of other podcasts criticizing his podcast, but that's just their podcast.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. And one of the ones that's kind of being cannibalized or eaten right now is this kind of trope of alpha man, masculinity under attack, toxic masculinity, you know, like that kind of a thing, or women have changed, women are different.
Yep.
It's almost, and I hate to use this term because I don't like it, but it is almost seems like a, and I think you said this, Tom, it's almost like an anti-woke kind of a thing, and I just feel like it's weird and it needs to be clowned because it's weird.
So hold on, okay, because what Colette, you sent us this clip, and it's two dudes, and then like there seems
what
to
was
be
the show you were on?
16 other people.
It's called Whatever.
Okay.
And I did not know of the show either. I don't think that, you know, a 52-year-old woman is their typical audience member.
No,
but
certainly
the
not.
idea is, what was interesting behind the scenes is that the location is top secret. You get sent the address like the day before.
Okay.
And I got patted down, and they even have like the little airport thing for, I mean, Charlie Kirk was on there.
Okay, all right.
No,
So
I mean,
Oh, really?
Yes, Charlie Kirk was on there. And do you guys know who Candace Owens is?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's a conservative
Sure.
commentator, and she can be quite controversial.
She's the one that keeps saying that Macron's wife is a man.
I don't even
Does
know
she
who
say
that is.
that? Okay.
Yeah, and she's being sued. She's being sued.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she's again, these are people that
Oh, is that the King of France?
Yeah, well, not the king.
Not the king.
But we got a lot of work to do today, Tom. A lot of work. I'll get with him later. We'll brush up.
Yes.
I thought they saw kings.
You can bring Tom back to the
See,
center.
to me, as a broadcaster, 30-year broadcaster, when I see all of these shows, Candace, all of them, I look at them and I'm like, you guys just like whacking the bee's nest.
Yeah.
You like making a mess and then having people yell at you for your mess.
Yeah.
I've never done that kind of, like maybe a little bit funning around, but not like that. That's weird.
I think it's a strategy to
Yeah.
get a lot of views and clicks and comments.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole reason the show, so after you get patted down and whatever, you go upstairs and it's this studio. There's a table. You're around the table with 9 people, which
Tom
is
hated
not your
that.
typical thing.
Do you want to take that? You want to take it from there? Tom was so mad. When I
I'm
showed
an
him the
old
clip.
school broadcaster.
Tell
you
them about
gotta
it.
earn the mic. You can't have 16 different guests
You
all with
gotta
a
earn
mic.
the mic.
You're like, who's the talker here? You're like, get the talker
we
in
need
here.
some,
Get Colette. All the
We're
other
the
girls.
gatekeepers. Not everybody gets to talk. How long have you been here?
Yeah.
Are you an intern or are you a host?
Why do you have so many people on mic? It's bizarre. I'm like, what the hell's happening?
You wouldn't think that a man who hates boundaries would get mad about radio boundaries, but I'll tell you something. If you slouch when you're talking into a microphone, this guy's gonna slap your cheeks.
Good to know.
If you got 9
they
people
Jake
around
Paul
one
doing
mic,
the
and
show like this.
Yeah, you got one person talking off mic and you can't hear what they're saying. Oh, producer Tom's gonna
Well,
come in
they
there and slap
actually
your
made a
cheeks.
very big deal of that. I mean, they went on and on about talk right into your mic, and if you don't, like, we're going to say something. But, you know, they also say at the beginning before you go on, it tends to be that 1 or 2 people talk and everybody else says nothing. And it was me and the OnlyFans girl next to me, the one with the enormous breasts.
Okay, yeah. I noticed that one.
Enormous.
Sorry,
like,
that was our breast alarm. I'll have to. You know what? Normally I turn the breast alarm off when you're in here. I apologize.
I mean, no. It really was fascinating. In fact, when I saw her out on the sidewalk, I thought, like, what is going on? Just in terms of why do you have that shirt on? They were basically spilling out. She and I were the ones who talked the whole time. So they encourage other people to speak
Did
up.
you guys hook up?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm joking. That's what I'm supposed to do here. Sorry.
It's like my daughter's
I'm sorry. I'm joking.
But I felt like I needed to defend them a little. You know what? Here's the thing. I didn't know that I was being brought on as the feminist. And I feel like I'm a therapist, so I just always can see both sides. And I will say, I saw there were a couple of points these guys made that I thought had some actual merit. Genuinely, a couple. But there were so many things they said that were so outrageous. You did wonder, is this just to like rage bait people, or do they really believe this about women?
It's hard to tell, but as a broadcaster, I'll say that usually if you are talking into a microphone, you're trying to find something that's either going to make people mad, make people excited in some way, exaggerate, and
or
so
make
like,
people laugh. Like that's what we try to do. I mean,
yeah.
but when I first started working in radio, it was the type of radio that me and Ed Till did. Yeah. When I was producing Ed Till's program here in town, we would, and I'm sure he would agree with this. In fact, I hope we get him on here pretty soon because he's been talking to me on Facebook. We used to rage bait, and it was before it was even a thing. And but he would do it in almost a more intellectual style. He wasn't trying to make you mad just to make you mad. He would just take the side that he knew less people would agree with.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
He's like, and it was a formula.
But I like that. I think that's interesting.
It was trying to be entertaining, and he didn't always believe the opinions he would run with.
Okay.
But the equation was, Dan, little young Dan, you find the topics, and then he would find the the angle he wanted to go on and run with that, and it worked. It does work.
Colette,
I just don't like it.
Yeah. I hear you.
I liked it when I was doing it then, and I was cutting my teeth as a producer. As a broadcaster, I don't think you and I choose to do that.
Yeah.
Well, this podcast was very, in my opinion, very slut shaming, and he really took me to task on a lot of things. I had written in answers to questions, like he thought it was outrageous that I once went on 4 dates in one day, and like, why do I deserve to be treated to a meal by a man if I'm out there? I'm like, well, first of all, not that it matters, but I didn't sleep with all these people. These were like 15-minute dates at Starbucks. Just because if you're single, and I know you guys have been married a long time, but I had 10 years of dating as an adult between marriages.
Sure.
And you get to the point where you get worn out by online dating. It's so discouraging. Or you're talking to a guy for weeks and he seems normal by text, and then you meet him and you're like, no. So I got to the point where I was like, look, hi, nice to meet you. I'm available at from 4:15 to 4:30.
Yeah.
You can meet me at the Starbucks at this court.
Yeah.
Because you know immediately if there's an attraction. But he like ragged me out for that. And then this whole chivalry thing. And, his argument is that chivalry is putting undue burden on men, and that women, if they want men to have what I consider basic manners, that women should be submissive and they should be like old school.
So is his
40
equation, is what he's saying, that if I am... I'm not sure I'm picking up what he's laying down. I'm being chivalrous how? Like in a relationship way, like opening doors?
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said. How
What's
do
his
we
concept
define
of chivalry? Yeah.
Right. So I think he was extending it. It started with chivalry, but I think it evolved. And it is interesting to ponder, because chivalry, as I defined it, is when you're dating, I would like a man to pay on the first date. To me, that's manners, and those are the manners I was raised with.
Yeah.
Then he segued into, well, for how long does that go on? Oh, and they gave me such a hard time for like getting child support and saying that how much child support I got was not a lot of child support. I mean, there just was no, they don't think that women, the idea is that white men, young white men, are now being victimized by culture, that women will not date men unless they make a lot of money. Women expect men to provide for them, not just open the door, and that women don't even want, let's say men do that, women don't even want to do their part of the deal, which is to see the man as the leader, to defer to him and be submissive and obedient.
So
Can you actually write that down and have Tom say it? 'Cause I have a hard time listening to ladies. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You made a really, that's, okay. Now I understand.
Yeah.
So,
now I understand.
obviously,
I'm sorry you even went there. I'm like, holy smokes.
I know.
But I'm also really happy you went there because it's a popular show.
no,
Right.
Yeah, so that's-
And I made it. I feel like I survived it. Yeah.
Here's the interesting part about this is it is a popular show, right?
Right.
So that means the audience, it makes this a popular show because that's how it works. And if the audience is listening to this, now some of this is hate listening and like hearing what, but a lot of it is, it's hard nowadays to hate listen to anything because you like a lot of it is this audience likes this kind of talk. And there is a pushback in the younger generation of that young white guy that's like 27.
The red pill stuff. You know about the red pill stuff?
What is that?
Well, this is considered a red pill show. I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
Plan B?
No, I'll let you explain it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I even understand it that well, but my understanding, and then Dan, you correct me if I'm wrong, is it's these men. No, I want to say before I say this, I do think, again, there were some nuanced, legitimate arguments in there. Like, I think have you heard the stat that 80% of women want to date 20% of men? Have you ever heard that?
That's too confusing for me. I just go out there and look for women that are single. You know what I mean? Like these guys, you're tying up with your damn stats and all this garbage. Wash yourself, look good, be confident, and go out there and try and find a mate.
I think the point
pussies.
is that a lot of guys are not getting women because they're saying women are very picky and a man has to make a certain amount, or they even got into women only want to do, what was the 666 thing? 6 figures,
Mark of the
6
Beast.
feet.
Oh, 6'7".
Yeah, not 6'7".
I know that one.
Yeah.
But wait, 6 figures, 6 feet, and what was the other 6?
See, this is BS.
6 inches.
It's never caught. Yeah,
6 inches.
He might be
That's it.
right.
No,
he
no,
might be
no, it
right.
was-
I know my
Hey, 2 and a 3 ain't
It
bad.
was 6 inches.
Hey, that 6 inches is
But
pretty easy.
meanwhile,
I was like, that's not too
women
tall of a
do
task.
not care about that.
I'm
Women
just saying. I'm glad that the 6 figures is harder. 6 foot.
Yeah.
No one.
I can't do 6 foot, but I would tell you.
barely.
You can do 6 inches.
I can do 2 out of 3,
Also,
and it's never stopped
there
me.
you go.
None of that has ever
If you're
stopped me.
6 foot and only have 6 inches, that's not that much.
Well,
It's
I
not.
don't think
Yeah.
women care that much about penis size. I think that's always. I really
Oh,
don't.
my God.
I don't.
I wrote that down as a
Oh
topic.
my God, we'll see you next week.
The show is over. But okay, that was the thing. They're saying the 666, and they're saying that for a lot of men, and I think this is reflected in this whole red pill thing, which is where I'm going, that a lot of men feel like they can't get women, or they can't get the women they want. I don't know which it is. And that it's unfair. And so they've become angry, and there is this simultaneous...
Well, you're a bunch of weak nerds.
Yeah, but it's like wanting women and wanting sex and being denied it, and then hating women for that perceived or real
But it's
rejection.
not their fault. It's your fault, you nerd.
But that is the thing. They think it's women's fault. And so how would you describe the red pill thing, Dan? Because maybe I'm not getting it right.
I think he did a decent job of doing it without going into other overreaching political things that people like to tie to it. Yeah, I think he did a decent job of it.
Yeah, it's gotten politicized in some corners.
It
but
has.
it can
I know
also-
what the red and the blue pill are. Now I know.
Well,
Obama.
It's all coming together. Don't get me started on the
they
yellow
had
pill.
Take your Obama pill. I'm sorry.
They had a red and a blue pill on the table.
Oh my God.
Which I didn't even know what the hell that was about.
I'm writing
but,
this down.
But I think,
I want to be rich like them, Colette.
I mean, they are making a ton of money with this show, and most of the people writing in, I mean, my husband sent me like 30 screenshots of people just blasting me. I was chair 3, calling me insufferable, and I feel like I was pretty gentle. Like I even conceded.
No, you didn't go hard at all.
No, I didn't go hard at all. I was trying to, I think there's too much therapist in me where I was trying to understand where they're coming from.
Well, so you were trying to take it seriously, and I think it's a room of clowns, right?
Yeah.
And what I worry about is like when we're trying to do this show, and I was going to say no offense to that show, but total offense to that other show.
Yeah.
I'll throw nothing but shade at that other show. I prefer to actually try to give advice that might actually help people than try to weaponize like how single moms are using OnlyFans or this, that, and the
Yeah.
other thing.
Well,
or-
that's why we're poor.
it is. You're right.
We're trying
He's
to
right.
do
He's
good.
right. Both things,
We're all doing it wrong.
both things can be true. Both
I almost
things can
threw
be
my
true.
shoe.
Don't throw
I'm
your
so
shoe at me.
mad. Yeah. But okay.
He's been throwing his
There's-
shoes at me lately. It's like this new thing. We need to work on
Colette.
this in session.
All right, so let's unpack
Yeah.
a lot of this
Yeah.
because
Okay.
we could talk about these shows or whatever. It's not even we're talking to our audience too. Like their audience is their audience,
Right.
but like why is that audience so big and popular? Like, and why are these guys so popular? There must be a lot of the same
Yeah.
feelings, and there's a lot of people that are in their house living a
Lonely life.
a lonely
Yeah.
life that
Yes.
get mad at the world. And
Yes.
I've seen this too, where I've met men that are just so mad at women, and I'm like, God, this weird feeling.
We've done it a couple
they're
times
mad at every
together.
woman.
Yeah.
And-
Oh yeah, that is
and
the
I'm like-
conceit of the show. Those are the people writing
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
They're mad at when. First of all,
It's a weird thing to.
There's-
It's like you know, it is.
It is weird.
For like unjustly and just mad at everyone.
Yep.
And like women
Yep.
especially, and then like and I'm like, what? That's a weird.
now
feeling.
men can't make it. Nobody likes the white man. I mean, there's some truth to some of this, but the victimology of it, right? That actually women have it better. Women are not oppressed. Women are actually advantaged and privileged. They just totally disregard the violence that's perpetrated
Sure,
against
yeah.
women, the fact that women like make less money to the dollar. They actually told me that they do not believe that. That's false. They showed me statistics about, I mean, I won't get into the political issues. I let a lot of things go because their viewpoints, whether they mean it or it was rage baiting, were some of the stuff was so ridiculous that it's like you can't even argue with it. But what I thought was interesting is they go around and they have every woman rate their looks. So first of all, they have us tell our age, then they have us say our level of education.
Hold on. I honestly, I mean,
Yes. Oh, sorry.
we
I don't know.
might do this on a later show that's not connected to this one because this is bananas wild to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
this
then
is
they
so
have
90s.
you say,
This
yes.
is the show Tom and I've always made fun of.
But it's like I'm gonna say they're not pushing '90s hard enough because I'm like I
Yeah.
grew up in '90s radio. I mean they should be throwing bologna at you.
Totally.
They should be writing.
You know
like,
what I would
their
do?
stretch
I-
marks,
after-
grease pencil.
Yeah, after
Yes.
you say your age and after you say your occupation, you're gonna drop trowel and I'm
Yes.
gonna draw on your cellulite with a grease pencil.
Okay, that sounds like my
Howard
sorority.
Stern. That's Howard Stern.
Yes.
Yeah, that was his.
Howard used to go so hard. They did a little bit of that, but like you said, Howard was so talented at it.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was.
He could make it so funny. But they have you rate your looks on a scale of 1 to 10. You're not allowed to say a 7. So what broke my heart is some of these girls called themselves a 4. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I
why
have
do you-
to see him.
Why do you even? Okay, but why do you feel that way about? I give myself a 9.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to
That's
be
good.
inappropriate.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
I would
was
concur.
Like, I said for my age, I said I'd drop down to a 6 if you put me against like really good-looking 20-year-olds. But for my age, I'll give myself a 9. And then the funny thing is, Alex Stein, who is this like controversial comedian who goes around and attacks like AOC, calls her like a big booty Latina,
Well,
and then videos
when you
it.
can't be really funny, you do pick
Right.
a side
That's his
sometimes,
shtick.
and then you start launching bombs.
That's his
Yeah.
shtick. But then he told me that, of course, I'm confident. I said, the nice thing is they asked me what age I looked the best. And I said 30. Definitely, that was the best. I look better than 20. And I said, but I feel better as I get older because I'm more confident. And he said, well, you're only confident, literally, almost verbatim,
Let me guess it.
because, yeah, what?
Because of your husband.
No, he said, because if I don't act confident now, I will never get laid because nobody wants to sleep with someone in her 50s. So I have to adopt a confident persona to try to have sex. I mean, meanwhile, I'm married, so I don't have to try to have
That's
sex.
an insanely weird
I agree.
answer.
I agree. I just laughed. I was like, wait, so you think my confidence is so that I can try to get guys
It's
to
an
want to have
act?
sex with me? And meanwhile, I said, the last thing I even want at this point is for men to want to have sex with me.
They're shocking the
It's like
chat room
low
right
on
now.
the-
The ladies in the chat room are pretty shocked
What
at
are
that.
they
at that.
saying?
No, they're just like, wow.
What
There's a lot of
the-
wow.
Right?
Well, it's the grease pencil. He's just saying nonsense to try to get the people.
So you're saying it's an audio grease pencil.
$200 so that they could read.
But that one, I had a
horrible-
feeling he believed. I actually think what is so fascinating is that a man in his 30s with this conservative ideology and white man victimology, it seemed to his real belief is that at my age, my reason for being would be to try to somehow strategize that some man might want to have sex with me if I act confident. Like, it's just so like
he's also putting it as your top priority.
Right. That's
not
what I'm
your
saying.
book, not your business, not
Right.
your practice, not your clients, not your
Nothing.
husband, not your family.
Yes.
We haven't even talked about family.
Yes. Desperate bid for please let
That's a
some man
projection
want to have
of-
sex with
Yeah.
my old shriveled up self. If I fake confidence,
That's
somebody
wild.
will want to sleep with me.
Yeah, it's not real, but they're rich. Oh, they're rich.
Insane.
Well, going like I guess my point at the saying that there's a huge audience that believes
Yeah.
this is that's the reality of like a section of
Yeah.
Yes.
of the world out there that and these guys placate to that. But it's like, but they're all talking to themselves, and it's like they're not convincing you. They're like, these guys have something to say. You're like, this is so
South's got
it
something
does-
to say.
It all goes to the division of
Yeah.
everything, and everybody's just gonna be in their little bubble. And like these guys that are like, they're talking to a bunch of lonely women haters
Well,
that haven't been
yes.
laid in there
That's
a
it.
long time.
I think that's why
And it's
sometimes
like,
though the
so
tone
what?
takes a more concentrated turn.
Yes.
I think maybe why you don't get the like when Howard did it. You not to contrast and compare, but
Yeah,
you
well.
knew that it was an act because
Was
you felt the
shock.
uncomfortable in this. He was in the raft with us as we were
Yes.
going down the river.
Yes.
This is so much more of a almost like a try hard thing because it feels like these guys have to almost to dig in more, you know, to
Yes.
make their point because it's not authentic.
No.
It's not
Plus,
real.
they're not Howard Stern. But
True.
he's so talented. He's so talented, whether you like him or
No,
not.
he was.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack some of the things that these guys are saying that is true to their audience
Okay.
that we can even look at and subjectively talk about because there is a reason that a lot of people think this way.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's go to like, okay, you're a white guy, young white guy, and you're having problems dating, right?
Right.
And let's say you're not 6 foot tall, you don't make six figures.
And you don't have a 6-inch penis.
yeah.
That's true.
And then
There's
you're
a lot of guys out there.
and
Right.
so all you're doing is looking at social media and all these good-looking guys that are ripped and are like
Getting all the girls.
getting all the girls,
Having all the
and then
sex.
all the girls around you are looking at the guys that are like successful and confident and
Yeah.
all these traits that you're not, and that's where the girls around you, your coworkers, the people you want to date, are looking at and comparing you to.
Yeah.
So I understand that guy that's like 26 that is like, man,
Angry.
I'm a normal guy. I'm not. I don't look like any of this. I'm not that successful, and all the girls around me want this, and they don't want me. And I'm so awkward because I've been on social media. So I don't know how to talk to a girl in person, only online.
Yeah.
And then so there's a
Actually,
huge.
I agree. I think there's
society.
fairness to that. I think and where I have sympathy for it is if you think about, let's say a guy isn't making a ton of money and isn't the best looking guy, and maybe he's not 6 feet tall, maybe he doesn't make six figures. I think the valid point that wasn't articulated in a more sensitive, nuanced way is like this poor guy then maybe is also expected to foot the bill on a date. What if he's making minimum wage? Like maybe that isn't totally fair, and my answer would be like, take the girl on a picnic or whatever, or like, go somewhere that's not so expensive. But I do understand the point that maybe a lot is expected of men. Some of it maybe is outdated. Some of it isn't realistic for how expensive things are today. Not every man is making a ton of money. And I can be sympathetic to the fact that if the only way you can get laid is if you meet this very rigid criteria, I can see how a lot of people would feel that's not fair and feel alienated. What I tried to push back on that nobody seemed to have any sympathy for, including the young girls at the table who seemed to agree more with the men, which made me very sad, was that women are constantly objectified objectified. And if women don't look perfectly hot, there's still in our society, there's more body positivity than there used to be, but not really if men are honest. If we don't look good, nobody wants us, regardless of what we make, what we have to say. That is not fair. And I felt like that was totally kept out of the dialogue.
Yeah, no,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
And so I don't know how it's like you can't change society, right? And it's like, it's almost like we're all given. Every human has these smartphones, and then with the smartphone, the best looking people get to the top of the algorithm, and then so you're never going to. I guess you could forcefully try to change your algorithm, but that's hard to do because guess what? Our human nature is attracted to good looking, successful people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then even the men on the other side, a lot of these guys, these young guys that are like dating, their expectations are too high,
right?
Because they're looking for the Instagram hot. I mean,
we knew a guy that stayed celibate, single, no sex, no relationships, no dating for a very long time. He's a great guy, but his idea of what he should have at that moment was so.
Like a 10.
Unrealistic.
It was so unrealistic. And I'm not even trying to be mean to the guy, but let's just say you were overweight. Right. You don't take care of yourself. You're funny and you're kind. You're a good person, but you don't do anything to make yourself like, you're not putting any work in, right? And you expect just a supermodel to land in your lap and love you. And it just, I don't think it works like that, man.
I agree.
That's not reality.
And I think part of this, we can't change society, but I will say doing relationship work and knowing attraction, if people could get past all of these boxes and get off the apps and get in the real world, there are a lot of people who might not meet your criteria, who once you get to know and they make you laugh and you connect, attraction is so visceral and physical and in the moment. There are men that wouldn't check my criteria if I made a list of my ideal guy that I've dated or been attracted to because I got to know them in the wild and I was like, oh my God, I'm attracted to this guy.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have thought he's my type. I think a lot more of that could happen in both directions. But to your point, the younger generation, they don't have any social skills anymore. They're not out in the real world connecting. They don't even know how to make eye contact and ask for something. So these keyboard warriors are on there firing these comments, dragging these girls for being sex workers. But meanwhile, they want to be sleeping with them.
Well, maybe that's what I'm feeling right now is that on the show you were on. And I don't know the host with the beard, that guy.
The host with the beard. Brian Atlas.
Brian Atlas. Him,
he's the main host.
Yeah, that guy. I can tell by just the way he talks how few women he has dated.
Yeah.
I can tell.
I would agree with you.
I mean, as a person that has done broadcasting and judged people professionally, for 30 years, I look at people, I read them because I got to size you up before we start talking. 100%. There's zero confidence in that guy.
Some of it felt personal too.
Yeah.
Some of it felt like the stuff he was saying was like from his own personal experience of, I have to make all this money in order to get women, but then women don't, and then I have to pay for them, but then they don't even want to be submissive and obedient and see the man as the leader of the family. And I said flat out, if submissiveness and obedience is part of the contract, don't open my door, slam it in my face. I'm out. Like I wouldn't even have been able to do that in the 40s.
Okay. Let's take this topic and weave it into, because when you said submissive,
I hate that word,
dominant or whatever. Okay, so
Tom loves those words. Yeah.
Submissive.
So
ew.
I'll talk about like in my personal relationship. It's hard for me to speak on dating and younger people. I have no idea about any of that. Like me
neither.
I've never even dated.
Haven't done it. You're the freshest dater, right? We have, I think.
And I'm 10 years out of it, yeah.
So a lot of men, I've seen this with my friends, and this is why I bring it up, because I'm guessing there's a lot of our listeners that are in my situation, right? Their wife's a strong woman, right?
Yes.
Crystal's super strong, right?
Yes.
I like it. I like a strong woman.
And I think a strong man likes a strong woman.
Andrea is confident, like she knows things better than me, and I love it.
Yeah, and she's confident in who she is.
It's
both
sexy.
Of your wives.
It's sexy, man. Like when she sets me straight on something and it saves saving the family from like a lot of heartache, I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad you're here.
But you guys are confident, so you value confidence in a woman.
Yeah, but not too strong.
Let's not go crazy.
Let's let the record reflect I am the boss.
Well, okay, so speaking of that,
I am not.
So then-
I don't care. I don't care.
You don't even want to be.
I don't care.
So then your partner is a strong woman or whatever, a strong man. You could go both ways. So then, because they're that, you just let them do everything, right? So because I'm like,
idiots don't know how to do this.
because I'm lazy, and I'm just like, well, this is my partner. She's doing all the planning, and she's doing whatever. I'll just let her do whatever. And then it seems that like that works, and then all of a sudden we get to a point where she's like, I want you to take care of me sometimes,
Yes.
and then I'm like, what?
Yeah, and you're like, I'm completely unprepared to do this. I can't
Yes.
take care of nothing.
Yeah. I just been sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Passenger
Hold on, let me take my
princess.
pacifier out. What? What did you just say? Let me take my bonnet off.
I was enjoying my life here. You were taking care of all this stuff. I didn't have to worry about, and I do my part anyway. But all of a sudden, so then I'm like, oh, I gotta start doing. So then lately I've been driving. I'm like, I'll drive.
Hey,
only because
look at that guy.
And then she's getting motion sick.
What is
and
this, the
complaining the whole time.
50s?
I know.
But then, so it's like sometimes you want to be taken care of, and then
Yes.
sometimes you want to take care of your partner, and then but it should be a
Yes.
balance, right?
Okay, so I love that you said that because
Look at this guy. Look where you're getting him, man. Look where you're getting him.
Thomas.
Aren't you proud of him?
So evolved.
He is.
I'm very
Yes.
proud.
It's not helping his marriage, but it sounds good on the show.
I like to preach a lot, not so much practice.
yeah. He's good on the show.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
I'll preach all day and moonwalk with alligator boots into my Ferrari driveway.
But no, it should be a give and take. I mean, listen, one thing I thought was really interesting that I agreed with that I hadn't thought about. They ask you all these questions and you answer, like, do you think women are still oppressed? Which I said yes. Nobody else said yes to that, except the one girl to my right. She had my back on a couple things.
What does oppress mean?
Yeah. I mean, seriously, right?
You're a sex worker. I mean, that's it's in. It's not total. It's in the Venn diagram of oppression.
But I mean, I think even
It's the
that's
P.
an interesting thing to debate. Is a female sex worker oppressed, or is she having agency and choosing to, the life that she wants and the career that she wants? But one thing I did agree with is we all went around and said that we thought a man should take a bullet for you, that like a man should walk on the outside of the sidewalk, that if somebody's like firing, like let's say you're in a scary situation, that you would want your husband to protect you.
What about a slasher?
To jump in front of you. Yes.
I'm not jumping in front of a slasher. Pumpkin-headed slasher comes out of the bushes. You expect me to, for my daughter? Yes.
Yes.
For my daughter, I will jump in front of the slasher.
Well,
For Andrea, I don't know. Because she may be able to tackle the slasher easier than I am.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that's a whole different point.
I'm not
but
very
you know
strong,
what?
Colette. I think you could probably take me.
Am I taking this bullet in the heart
Yeah,
or
where
in
am
the
I
leg?
taking it? In the leg, I feel like I'd get
Can it
more
grip?
BJs if I get it in the leg because I'm still a hero, but I'm not dead.
You're
Right?
not
So-
damaged. But I mean, I think that's the thing where I don't think that's technically fair. If we want to say that modern society has evolved and men and women should be more equal and it should be more of a dual partner, is it really fair for me to want my husband to save me physically? I don't know that I'd do that for him. My kids, hands down.
Sure.
But then this guy's point, and I'm just saying on paper, I thought it was interesting to contemplate that some of my ideas even are societally constructed, right? They're old school masculinity and
I have
femininity.
those too.
Yeah, and what he was pointing out is that I want to be, I don't think I wear the pants in my family at all. I think my husband and I have equal say. We're equal partners. But I think that was the impression these guys got. But is it fair for me to say, okay, I want you to protect me, but then I don't want to defer to you as the leader or play a more traditional female role? I think that point was interesting to contemplate. And I'm willing to even say maybe there's a little hypocrisy there in expecting my husband to walk on the outside of the sidewalk, but then I don't want to defer to him.
That is how I was raised, too. It's funny. You're the only person in a lot of this that's ever mentioned that age-old thing my dad taught me.
Yeah.
I still do it with my wife and kid. Like if we're walking, I
You're
always
the
I walk to
protector.
the road. I'm on the road and they're on the center.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
And
man.
I do kind of expect, not kind of, I
Yeah.
still expect that.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, but I think it is interesting. Is that fair to expect a man to die for you, but to want everything else to be equal? It's just an interesting thought to contemplate.
Well, because that's where the little straw is that they can turn into shows and stuff.
Yeah.
You were
because-
mentioning this
But
earlier.
because
yeah.
let's be honest, things are complicated. Yeah, like you can,
Yeah.
you're like you said, you're 52. You grew up in a different generation than these guys too.
Yeah.
And, then so-
And husband as well. I
and
feel like the
My
we all
husband's
did.
62.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like the dynamic there warrants
Yeah.
what you're wanting.
So
Yeah.
you're
right?
molded.
Yes.
You're molded by your generation. It's hard. We've seen it throughout. And these guys are like, "Wait, why am I throwing my coat down on the puddle for this person?"
But it also sounds lazy to me when you say that, right?
I
It sounds-
agree.
I
No,
think it sounds lazy
but-
because what
I
happened
agree.
to just doing stuff?
But-
Right. How about doing it to be nice and have good manners
Yeah.
and treat a woman well, not just for what you get?
But that's the little. But
Get
because
sex.
yeah, of course, yeah, yeah.
Right.
And
I do like sex though.
So that
Fair enough.
That's where these guys are like making the argument of like, hold on, like I'm expected to do all this.
You guys
chivalrous
want it
stuff.
fair? Well, we're gonna make it
And what am I
fair.
getting out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
I
of the
know.
funniest moments was he showed this video of this either Japanese or Chinese woman. There was
Dirty knees?
There
Look at
was
these.
Asian. It was not like that, but there was some type of Asian text on the screen. So I don't know whether it was Chinese or Japanese. But the woman was running around, feeding the husband, heating his food, taking care. It was like a traditional submissive, stereotypical thing. And he's like, "This is my ex-girlfriend. I had to break up with her." I mean, it was so obviously an internet video because of the like Chinese or Japanese characters on the screen.
Yeah.
And all the girls were like, "Oh my God, she's so cute. Why did you break up
What
with
he was
her?"
he was trying to trick some OnlyFans girls
Yes.
into believing that an Asian
This-
meme video was his ex-girl.
Yes.
These guys are clowns.
And they were buying it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "See how submissive and wonderful my ex-girlfriend was?" I mean, and these girls just were like, "Aw." And then one girl was like, "You guys, it's not real." Like, it was,
Oh my God. Oh, Colette. Oh my God.
I know, 8 hours, you
These
guys.
guys.
So, but of course, we're all looking at that. That's not reality. But sometimes there are like people that like to take care of
Andrea.
their spouse. Andrea likes to take care
Yes.
of Daniel.
She's
And-
an overhelper. She
Yes.
can't stop it, dude. She cannot
Yeah.
physically
And-
stop herself from like
Yeah.
if me or Maisie needs something, she'll do it for you.
And I made the joke before that a 1950s housewife and all this stuff, which is insulting because Andrea's not
Wow,
doing
it's funny.
it to be submissive just because that's her duty.
Yeah.
No.
She enjoys doing that.
And that's
does.
great.
And that's totally fine. And that's their
great.
dynamic. So,
Yeah.
but then what the problem is that we're all arguing about individual people's
Boom.
dynamics, and then you're jealous. It's a really jealousy. It's like,
Yes.
that comes into a lot of it. Like, why does this make me so angry? Like, why is my wife not submissive and making
Yes.
me dinner and then massaging my feet?
And by the way,
I don't get
making
that.
dinner is
I've never done that.
oh, it wanes.
And by the way, it's not the same thing being submissive to wanting to take care of your partner. I think in an ideal relationship, you do want to do nice things for
Yeah,
your spouse.
of course.
Maybe you want to make your husband dinner and bring something to him. And maybe sometimes your husband wants to do that for you. People should want to take care of their spouses in nice ways
Yeah.
mutually. But that's not the same thing as being submissive and having no voice, which makes me nauseous. I did concede that because my husband's 62, I think secretly sometimes he's attracted to me for my more outspoken personality, but that he probably would love it if I was like a little more submissive. I mean, I wonder. I
Well,
don't know.
who wouldn't?
but-
There's a Colette when you get home.
And there's a time and a place for that, if I'm just saying it.
the kids are dressed in tuxedos,
Yeah.
and you're just reading the paper, and then your wife is being like, "Shh, be quiet. He had a stressful
Daddy
day."
had a tough day. Go take him his medicine.
yeah.
A little tumbler,
A
like 2
highball.
fingers of whiskey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's not complaining
Go
about
put his slippers on. Go give him his pipe.
about how dirty the house is and how I gotta get up and do the dishes and how all the stuff.
Okay, so that's my question to you guys.
Okay.
Do you think, not this group, but do you think men really do wish that things went back to a different time when women were more traditional and men were more taken care of?
Overall, all
Yeah.
men?
Or just in general?
I mean, if you're going globally, yes, because
Yeah.
you got to take into consideration different cultures, and we're just not there yet.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I could not live in my marriage if my wife is very independent. She got that from her mother. My daughter's very independent. She got that from Andrea.
And you like that?
I do. I find
Yeah.
it sexy. They command control. My wife is, when I see her command her job like confidently, I saw her present, or I listened to it one day,
Yeah.
and it's upstairs. I'm listening to her present to her company, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know, like I like.
You admire it.
But she's not an idiot. I love that. She's beautiful. You know, yeah. There's but you could have a wife that is beautiful and maybe the dynamic is not what we have, and it could work for you.
Totally.
You know? It's case by case, I think.
It's a trick question, though, Colette,
Yeah, it
because
is.
it's like asking someone like, "Hey, wouldn't you like it if you didn't have to pay any of your employees?" And they just all like, "Yes, I would."
Okay.
Keep talking. And then you're like,
He's
"Well,
right.
okay,
Yeah.
well, let me present to you why you're a bad person."
Right.
Well, it's like, yes, like, okay, wouldn't you like it if your spouse is doing all the work, but if she's doing it out of fear, or you know what I'm saying, then I wouldn't like it.
You're
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like,
Right,
I would
right.
like it if she wanted to do that, but that's sometimes that's all.
But only if
personality.
she wanted to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
personality based. So like everybody's got a different personality. It's like why are they doing it? What's the intention of it? If it's because society says you have to and you're miserable doing it, who wants to live like that?
I agree.
You know, and I don't even think the guys in the 50s lived like that per se. I think it was portrayed on TV that way, and the reality of the situation was probably a lot different. Like obviously it was different, but it wasn't like we see in TV and
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
Like
I agree
so
with
it's
you on that.
portrayed, and then all of a sudden we want something that our pop-ups didn't even get.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
my pop-up got a divorce for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was like, why did he get a divorce? Because like, what did he expect? Like he's probably a horrible husband. You know, he's a single's entire
Yeah,
life after
yeah.
he got a divorce. You know?
Really?
Because he didn't know. He fought in World War II at 17.
he's
he had no
probably
idea.
a pretty tough guy.
He
right?
grew
Like
up in
a
an
hard
orphanage.
Man, hard man.
Yeah, like some of the, and then some of that is
You
your.
grew up in an orphanage.
Yeah.
Well, he
like-
was left. Okay, tell her the story. I mean,
No,
this will shape your shape
Yeah.
the
Well,
way you
in
treat
the Great
people.
Depression, like his parents had to choose 2 kids to keep and 2 kids to give in the
Oh,
orphanage.
God.
His parents used to come visit him with his older brother and sister, and then he lived in the orphanage.
How
with his,
things in the toy room. Things in the toy room are great. All right, bye.
and then
Okay,
hang out,
that's
and then,
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
and then at 17, he
that'll
I
shape
have,
how
I
you.
have goosebumps.
But that shapes how you treat people. I feel
Yeah,
like, right?
hard
Well,
ass
you
man.
have to find. Yeah, you
Never
have
hugged
to
me.
find
But
a way to survive.
I looked up to
No, but here's what I would say too. After meeting him, I think I met him like 5 or
Yeah,
6 times. I'd say he did pretty damn good for having the life he had. He was a lot warmer
Yeah.
than you would let on to a person that lived in an orphanage during the Great Depression and then
Yeah.
blew planes out of the sky in World War II. You know what I mean? Like he
but
did pretty good.
Yes.
but
pretty
still,
good.
he was,
And probably
yeah.
wasn't whining that he was a victim like these ridiculous guys on the show who haven't suffered anything and
Yeah, yeah.
see themselves as victims.
Right.
Oh yeah, he thought way more extreme than these guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, you should hear his show.
He would call you a specific word
Yeah.
that I cannot say.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
He does not use grease pencils, but he uses every word you can't
Yeah,
say.
and then if I told him like these are the men that other men are following, they'd be like, what?
Oh yeah. Then he'd
That's
sl-
Obama.
He'd slowly retire to his room to get some guns.
Oh yeah, I'm glad he's not here to see this. Anyway, Colette, we gotta go. Let's plug your book because you were on the tour. In
We're also glad
California.
you're safe. We're glad you
Thank
got out of
you.
the show.
Thank you. I escaped. I was not attacked for being an old dried up bag.
Stop it. Oh
So my
God.
book is The Cost of Quiet, How to Have the Hard Conversations That Lead to Secure, Lasting Love. You can pre-order it right now wherever you get books or on my website, ColetteJaneFair.com. And you can also find out how to work with me there.
There you go.
Awesome. Like and subscribe
Please
to
do.
Love Thy Neighbor Show. Leave a comment that helps us out.
We got a ton of email. We got some new ones. We had some saddled for today, but we didn't get to it,
Yeah.
which is great.
Well, let's do it next week.
Maybe next
Yeah.
week we can just like go through a bunch. But
let's
if you do have a question for Colette, it's hello.
Hello.
And my brain's shutting down.
No, there's a
It's-
lot of emails.
It's hello@lovethyneighborshow.com. Hello@lovethyneighborshow.com. You will remain totally anonymous. We don't even mess around with that. So if you have a sticky question you want Colette to answer, we can do that. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Awesome. Guys, set
We're still
change.
on,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm going to turn it all off. And
Okay,
we're gonna
no worries.
put a
And
little
I have an
music
11
on
o'clock client who's
here.
probably standing up. Anyway.
Who's that?
All right, guys. We'll see you in a second.
Who? Squirt is P. You dumb rednecks.
Right about now, you are listening to the incredible.
A mediocre time with Tom and Dan, who kindly remind you that squirt is P.
we bring friends.
All right.
Let me get that out of here. I don't know why my music isn't behaving correctly today. All right, let's see. Is this thing working? There we go. All right.
Beautiful.
Let me scene change this. Boop, boop. Well, that's the wrong one. I gotta do. Go in here, find that. Open. Okay. There we go. All right. Fixed it. Keyed Up BDM wants to know, where is Busdecker? He's sitting off camera. He's not allowed on, contractually, he's not allowed on camera anymore because you're still going through that lawsuit, right?
Yeah, ever since the incident.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to talk about it. EJ's got an incident, too, that I want to talk about.
Oh, my camera froze.
Yeah, we've been having that today. I got to talk to SJ about that. Hold on, let me fix this. Doop, doop. Let's see if that fixes it. Yep, there we go.
Right.
Is Mo frozen? No, he's good.
No.
Frozen Mo sounds pretty good, though, right?
Yeah, it does sound good.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
I'd like
yeah,
Blame
he's
Mo,
because I
Frozen
write
Mo.
that down,
Could I have two
Busdecker.
Frozen Mo's?
Yeah.
WWF popsicle.
What would your flavor be of a Frozen Mo?
Oh, I mean, chicken parm's probably kind of gross.
No,
Yeah,
I think you can pull it off.
No,
Ball?
people are doing that. Skyline Chili did that.
It was good.
It was good, but it's a prank.
Right.
They're
yeah.
saying
But it's for the marketing. It's your chicken palm ice cream.
But then,
called
so
the
you'd
Frozen
have
Mo.
to take the things out of it that work, right? So what would work? The milk would work because there's cheese.
Yeah, maybe like the little bit of tomato could work.
Yeah,
if you
because
go,
it's
like,
a fruit.
Yeah, sort of like Bloody Mary type.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we could go more Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the angle. You go Bloody Mary with, and then what is the thing? What does chicken parm have? No, you could do a skewer with a piece of cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Well,
I'll
we'll
have
have
to think
to
about it.
brainstorm
Put
this.
some chicken nuggets on the top, and then it's a bloody. Maybe it's a Bloody Mary with just really nice, two really nice chicken nuggets and a piece of
that could work.
mozzarella on the
Yeah.
top, right? Dude, a chicken parm Bloody Mary would be badass. If you did them down at like the ones they used to do down at Harry Buffalo, is that where you get the whole skewer of bacon out of the situation? Yeah, the frozen mo. Well, you've done Mogaritas, right?
Well, yeah, we did Moritas at the Land Cruise.
They're calling them blood. He called it a Bloody Mo. Don't call it a Bloody Mo. This is disgusting.
All right.
All right. You got questions?
Yep.
We got answers.
Yep.
I don't think legally I'm allowed to say that. All right. You start.
All right.
Here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Our lawyer, Mo DeWitt's here. How you doing, Mo?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Injured on the go. Just call Mo. So, Mo, let's get right to it because we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Now, recently, this band Turnstile came into Central Florida Fairgrounds.
Yeah, you like the Turnstile?
It's there's a couple songs that are really good. My Dre and Leanne went there. Some of my friends from Miami, and then it's a younger audience, a hardcore band.
Yeah, they're good, man. Turnstile's blowing up.
So, I'll give you a little background. So, this band basically, as they became more and more popular, would put on free shows
Here's a little Turnstile.
in like big city parks, and then get like a ridiculous amount of people. And this show would be essentially amateur in the fact that it was just them on stage playing to this huge number of people. They didn't have any security, and like the audience would get on stage, jump off, and like that was, and they'd use that for social media marketing, which grew. Like it was a brilliant way to market yourself. And
you can kind of see it here on the screen. See the kids launching themselves into the crowd there?
Yeah, that looks safe.
Yeah, and so part of like Turnstile's whole thing was that they just let this happen, and normal people have security to not let people on stage, and then this is like anything goes, and it's part of, and they're running through the band and like jumping off, and it's all their audiences. They love it, and they knew it was going to happen.
It's part of their branding, really. I mean, it's kind of part of their hardcore. What would you even call it? New hardcore? Post-hardcore? No, it's not post. I don't know.
So now they're touring and making big bucks. Obviously, they're filling up the fairgrounds and like doing these huge venues.
They're a big rock band now. I don't think people thought they were going to be this big. They're a big rock band.
They're making millions, and their tour is a multi-million-dollar tour. It's big.
The light show's beautiful.
And so they are still doing this where they're letting their audience get on stage and then just jump off randomly, and then like in crowd surf, and like it just happens throughout the whole show.
It is, I would say, and I was explaining this to Tom, it's different than when I was a kid and you were moshing. It was like people would get hurt, it seemed like, but this seems more like they are just launching themselves into the crowd and that they're policing themselves. It's almost like the culture, that style of punk rock, hardcore, new culture is like we police ourselves,
Yeah, and it's a be cool, bro.
Yeah.
And obviously, and if you're listening to this, you may be thinking like, oh, this has been going on forever. Tom, you're an idiot. But in the past,
Bus Decker just raised his hand.
Yeah,
he says you're an idiot.
And then the band can say like, hey, we have security here. We try to stop people from getting on stage. Sometimes they get on stage and jump off. We cannot avoid that, right?
Right.
But in this scenario, they do not have security. They're free. Letting their audience...
Right, they're actually taking a step further. They're encouraging them to come on stage and jump off. So, in most situations, even like the mosh pit situation, there's an argument that could be made there. If someone was injured in the mosh pit, that they still tried to have proper security to control it. It was somewhat of a controlled environment, that the band wasn't condoning it, the venue wasn't necessarily condoning it. It's an argument. I'm not saying it's a good one, but it's an argument. When you're inviting people on the stage to jump off, it's really only a matter of time that somebody's going to get injured. Now, I don't know if they're having these people sign waivers, if they're signing waivers as part of coming into the venue, but it's very risky for them at this point if they're not doing it properly.
So,
injured in the pit, called DeWitt. That's from Ricky. I got to give him credit. That's from
right.
Ricky. Thank you, chat room. That's funny.
Because, and I got a pushback last time I was talking about this because I was joking around. Like, I could be the lawyer. I could figure out what Mo would say, which I do think, by the way.
You could also be a dentist, an airline pilot, professional gambler.
Yeah. Is there any job that you don't think you could do? We've never gone that direction, right?
Professional reader. Like when I saw George Bush reading that child's book to the classroom, I got scared.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's the reason I can't be president." I was like, "That was the only all the other
you can't read to kindergartners."
Yeah. I was like, as a kid, I thought to myself, I was like, "That's the reason. That's what will stop me from becoming president." All the other stuff, I was like, "I can do that."
You're kind of Dan Quayle, right? Put an E on the end of
Oh,
potato.
when I saw that, I was like, "I'm really
that's
done."
my guy. You're like, "That's my guy." He put an E on the end of potato.
Yeah. Then Trump got my hopes up. I was like, "Oh, I'm back. I'm back." Anyway,
Back, baby.
So back to this argument. And so people pushed back and said, hey, when you go to a Turnstile concert, this is going to happen. So you're buying into, like, if you know it's going to happen, how can you sue if, you're a willing participant?
Well, I mean, you can be a willing participant, but you can also assume that there's proper safety measures set up. There's proper security set up. So, you see other people doing it. They do it fine. They seem safe. And then you go to do it and something goes wrong because it's really not set up properly.
So I'm thinking of the audience members, and this is where I think the lawsuit's going to happen and this is going to stop. Is there's going to be eventually, with enough of these happening, there's going to be a person in the audience, and they know what's happening. They're like, oh, I'm ready to catch people. Then they're going to be like, oh, my phone. They're going to look down, and all of a sudden someone's going to jump off stage and then land on their head.
Right, and paralyze them or give them a traumatic brain injury or something like that.
Or
it's a good thing they're holding their phone.
You know what I'm saying? Like they get distracted. Someone lands on your neck, and then all of a sudden now you have hospital bills. Your neck's not right. You're out of work, and then you got all these medical bills piling up, and then it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and
all
then you can't
because
work.
you looked at your phone. He's making an argument for not bringing your phone to concert.
And then it's like, well, someone jumped off stage, landed on my neck, and they were encouraging this. That's opening themselves up to a lawsuit.
No, absolutely. Then you're just an innocent bystander. You weren't even participating in the activity, and now you got injured from it. So I think you're right. You're probably going to see this stop. Kind of off topic, but somebody posted a video the other day that I saw of a rotating dance floor that used to be at City Walk.
Yep.
And I was thinking, there's no way that would go over today. Like, people would be injured on that left and right. So I think it's just a matter of time. Enough people get injured in this, and then they're going to stop doing it. The insurance carriers, their attorneys are going to get involved and say, we got to shut this down.
Yeah.
And they're, maybe they can do something similar to it that's, a little safer with proper security and safety measures and waivers, but, doing it the way they've historically done it, I don't see going on for much longer.
Yeah, All right.
My neck's been hurting me since I went on Stardust Racers. Can you help me with that, Mo?
Or you hit by a duck.
Okay.
No.
Oh, that's a
You're
story.
queuing up the greatest hits today, buddy. Oh, man.
So let's talk about it.
I shouldn't have laughed at that when I read the headline either. But there's something funny.
Somebody getting hit by a bird.
Okay, but also, if you're going to get hit by a bird, one of the funniest birds I think you can get hit by is duck. One of the funniest birds.
Yes.
Ducks are funny.
Yes, and especially
Donald Duck, right?
Oh, yeah.
Daffy Duck. It's a funny bird. Funny fowl.
We spent a generation trying to shoot that stupid duck hunt duck with our gun. Every time he's laughing that we missed.
The dog.
Or the dog. Oh, it was a dog that was laughing.
Ducks can't laugh, you idiot.
You know, my mind was I was mad at the duck. You're right. The dog was
and
laughing
he goes
at
like
me.
this.
I was shooting the
he
dog.
goes-
Oh my God! I'm Shatterberg. Still
Sometimes
works.
that happens.
Still
Yeah,
works.
sometimes that happens.
Take that.
Hold on, I'll fix it. John 3:16. All right, we're good.
All right, so back to the duck. So a lady gets hit in the face with a duck on a roller coaster.
See, it's funny.
It is funny.
It's funny.
Ever since
Not if you're the
Fabio,
duck, though.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not funny for the duck.
Fabio got hit too.
Yeah, by goose.
yeah, ever since Fabio, I'm like, I'm glad we live in the multiverse that Fabio got hit by a bird in the face and broke his nose.
I love
How
that that
funny
was
is
like a
that?
media day, too, and they had all the cameras there. They pulled back in with a bloody face.
Anyway, so
Also, that guy's a hunk, right?
what, Fabio?
Yeah, he's a piece of meat. He's a good-looking man.
So, does this lady that got hit by the bird have any recourse? Yeah.
I mean, their argument they're basically making is that the roller coaster was near water. They should have known that ducks or birds could fly in front of the coaster. I personally think it's a tough argument, just because, I mean, how do you prevent it? For negligence, it's that you didn't take some sort of due care to prevent an injury to your patron. And so the only way to really fully prevent this is put the roller coaster indoors or put it entirely under a net, which I don't know is reasonable. Now, the one thing that they may have that I could see working here is that SeaWorld didn't warn. So there was a failure to warn. They didn't put up a sign saying, hey, you may possibly be hit by a duck in the face. And so that may be the only...
That's a song by Stitches.
That's bad for business. I mean, that happens 1 in 10 million. I'm not putting up a sign for 1 in 10 million.
Right. I mean, and so, I think that may be their only kind of avenue to proceed forward here. I think it's a stretch of the case. I don't know, how badly this person was injured, but I think in general, if you live in Florida, you know that there's birds and ducks everywhere. There's water everywhere. They were trying to argue because the roller coaster went over water. They should know there's going to be ducks there, but I don't know if that's really reasonable either.
Did you hear about the duck who went into the pharmacy to buy some condoms?
Come on.
And he
Not for the
says,
mo.
and he goes, hey, give me 1 pack of Trojans. And the pharmacist says, all right, that'll be $7.50. And the duck says, just put it on my bill.
Why is the product Trojan condoms?
Once a day. Because
It could have been anything.
No, you put the condom on his bill.
Oh,
You goddamn idiot. You know what, Melissa? Make a video of how dumb this guy is. I do
on
one
the
joke.
top and bottom.
I do one. No, you stretch it out. You put it on his bill.
Okay, well you can open the. Anyway.
I do one joke for my dead father in heaven, and this is what happened.
So, the likelihood, and isn't there something of like act of God? Isn't that which I hate that's in the law?
Me
by the
too.
way.
'Cause I'm like, but only if I
I'm
need
like-
it. If I need it, then I'm good. You know what I mean?
I mean, there is an element of foreseeability. Was this foreseeable to SeaWorld, and did they take reasonable precautions? Again, reasonable to prevent something like this from happening. So, if they had some fishing line up, if they had things in the area to kind of keep general wildlife out, if it's never happened before, it may not be foreseeable. They may have taken reasonable precautions. So ultimately, the lawsuit could be dismissed. It'll probably settle out.
I got a brilliant business idea. Or I'll write this down.
I think I know where. I think I know where you're
No,
going.
I-
Wait, let me write it down because I don't.
I need
wanna
a
ruin-
financial backer
on.
too. Because
Are we throwing ducks at people on roller
No.
coasters?
Oh, close. That's
Okay.
what I wrote down.
All
Actually,
right.
man, me and Mo are on the same
So
wavelength.
there's a job where you go to the airport with a falcon. You're a falconeer, and then you scare birds away from airports.
I think it's a falconer.
what is
A falconeer. A falconeer is a musketeer that has a falcon. A falconer is a falconer falcon.
It's like a Wagoneer
Yeah,
with a falcon on top.
falconeer.
You get the point. The
A
point is
falconer drives a falconer.
Yes.
that I'll start a business
Yeah,
where
Tom's falconer.
I get some falconeers to go to all these
falconers.
theme parks, and they won't even know what like it all because it's never gonna happen again, right? So but I'll get some falcons and
How many falcons?
And
do you
then
need?
I'll hire EJ and a bunch of other of
he's
our
too fat
team.
for falcons.
They don't even need.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
They just gotta hold it with the leather glove, and then it scares
No,
away
they
the
have to trust you,
birds.
dude. They have to trust you.
Huh?
I've watched documentaries on that.
That
When
will
you
tie it down.
No, you put that little hood on it. If you don't have that hood on it, that thing will go bite crazy.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
got to
put
have
the hood.
and it's less of a hood and more like a medieval Chinese brass helmet that this war animal wears. This thing is a war beast. You put
Yeah.
an ancient Chinese brass bell in its head, and if you take that thing off, that thing's ready to. It's ready to kill.
You know what? It won't even be a real bird. We'll put a whole pillowcase. It'll
Dress
be a
me
fake
as a falcon.
bird.
Dress me as a
Whatever.
falcon, fat falcon.
And then we'll say, hey, we're scaring away all the birds so that you don't have any lawsuits in the future. That's a good idea, right, Mark?
Sure.
All right.
I stayed at a hotel one
Yeah.
time that had a falconer that would come out in the morning and eat all the little. There's like little birds.
I
that
think
they
they're
would eat.
falconers. And now he's got you
Yeah,
saying
he's
it.
saying it
Now he's
wrong.
got you saying it. My God.
All right. Okay.
Too
so,
fat for falcon guy.
So Mo, let's end with this story because this is the reason why people vote against their own rights and then end up having to where you're like, what? I can't sue for over 1 million now, and it's like you voted on it. So a story came out of Winter Garden where a lady sued Target in Winter Garden and won $11.7 million.
Yep.
And the headline, when people see that headline, it legitimately, I think, gets people mad, and they immediately think, "Oh, that lady doesn't deserve $11 million." Because then they read the story, and then it's like she tripped on a uneven parking area space in their parking lot and shattered her leg. But even when you read that, I think the general audience hears and they're like, "Shattered your leg, you got $11 million." Like, I'll do that for $11 million. Like,
You say that, but yeah.
you know, but that's how the people think, and then they're like, "Oh, this is a scam. This lady doesn't deserve it." And then next thing you know, when big insurance companies and Target, which $11 million is nothing to Target, by the way, but they get people. They're like, "Well, we'll make it so that we'll put a cap on how much Target can get sued now." And the people are like, "I'll vote for that." You're like, "No, like you're
Right.
voting against your own rights."
Right.
What and just what save this giant billion-dollar corporation some money?
Yeah, why does that happen?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's generally the problem that I have with the billboards around town that put the numbers up and these kind of stories with the headlines is, we don't really know what happened to this lady. I mean, first of all, if you shattered your leg and had surgery, your medical bills alone are probably $500,000. So, pre-suit, they offered $250,000, or excuse me, prior to trial, they offered $250,000 in this case. They ended up with an $11 million verdict. But that $250,000, if her medical bills, and again, I don't know for a fact, but if her medical bills are $300,000 or $500,000, that basically leaves her with nothing, most likely.
Yeah.
So they really had no choice but to go to trial. And of course, her attorneys, I'm sure, made arguments that she's going to be in pain for the rest of her life. She was probably a likable individual who was probably a productive member of society, and this is dramatically.
She was okay. She's
you
fine.
liked her, but I mean, think about all the things. Think about if you couldn't run anymore, couldn't walk anymore, couldn't ride bikes anymore, couldn't play golf or whatever you love doing. Being a falconer, anything like that.
If it affected your whole life,
Right. So, I mean, we're not getting the whole story here. We're getting a headline. We're getting a clip that really doesn't explain what happened to this individual.
And people do forget, a jury of your peers decided this. So it's like,
Right.
There's 12.
It's different per jury, right?
It's usually like 6 people.
Yeah, 6. Well, what the hell?
14, 22.
Anyway,
yeah.
but
You've been getting a lot of wrong this week, man.
so they decided this, and it's not some buffoon just give her $12 million for nothing. It's
Right.
I would like it if the judge is like, let's go to the buffoon. And they just point to some dumb guy and he's like, I don't know.
But we don't know the whole story, and a bunch of people decided that this lady deserved
Here's
this.
what
and
I
it's
do
like-
know. Here's what I do know from riding the Peloton every morning and seeing the commercials with the checks with the numbers. Every single one of these people look really sad behind their eyes, and there's something sinister.
Just dead behind the eyes.
I mean, they're affected.
Yeah.
They're not having they're having to recover. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it is.
But then then you get the general, like, then you get emotional jealousy, or like, I want this money, and then you get mad at the person like that. I deserve.
No,
this.
you want your health. Use,
No,
use your mind and use facts, and you want your health. You do not want to be run over by a truck for $11 million. You don't.
No, I mean, one thing I've told everybody is, for anyone who got that amount of money, if you gave them the option today of going through what they went through before or getting the money again, they would rather be put back in the situation prior to them getting that money or getting that injury, because their life is never the same. When you're getting that level of money, your life is never the same. And here, I mean, we don't know what her medical bills are. We don't know what her future medical bills are. She may need additional surgeries in the future. She may be, I mean, think about it. What if she's confined to a wheelchair or a motorized scooter for the rest of her life?
Yeah.
I mean, what's that worth? Are you going to live your life like that? She was 44 years old, I believe. So if you're going to be in a wheelchair and not be able to walk for the rest of your life, what's that worth to you?
Of course, yeah. And people just see the headline and they
Right.
just see the money, and then they immediately jump to some conclusion in their head. It's
Well,
like,
I think it's meant to do that, right?
there's a whole
I mean,
system that
it's
happens
by design.
Guess what? Target's lawyers were arguing against this. You know what I'm saying? Really
yeah.
high-priced lawyers were making a good point in this case. Like, people that also don't realize, like, what do you think? This corporation's lawyers and the insurance company lawyers, they're good. So they made a compelling enough argument to a jury that awarded this lady $11 million. It's probably justified, but we don't look at it that way as a society. And I think
No, I
we
mean,
should change it.
it's easier to say, oh, $11 million, that's a ton of money. But like I said, if you can't walk for the rest of your life, I mean, would you trade $11 million to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life? I don't think most people would.
No.
Yeah. See, that's
I'd have to see what it feels like. Can I try it for 2 weeks? I just want to try it for 2 weeks to see how, like, because I might get there and be like, not bad.
It's not bad, yeah.
A long time ago, Mo, someone was going to give me
Don't talk
$4
about-
million
oh,
to
God.
cut my leg off, and I'm not joking.
Do you remember that?
I got.
do.
Well, Mo knows. Mo's
Yeah,
an old school
yeah.
listener. He
Hold
knows all the buffoonery that went on.
Yeah.
At one time, I jumped grave
Yeah,
digger.
he's one of us. He's one of I forget the post. One of us. One of us.
Anyway.
Tom never chance, by the way. Do you know how lucky you are? Do you know you're one of one, dude?
This is history right
You
here.
are one. It is. This is a one of one scenario.
But $4 million to cut my leg off, and we were debating it on the show.
You know, I thought you were going to do it, and I got really concerned.
I got dozens of emails offering. They're like, I'll cut my leg off if you just give me $1 million, and you can take the rest.
I read these. They're
And-
so sad.
And people are struggling, and then when they hear that, and they're not even thinking about like long term, they're just like, I need the $1 million. It's worth cutting my leg off. That's how, and it's sad almost. It's like that's how people's mentality. Now, if it actually came, I would call their bluff. I'd be like, if you're about to go into the operating room in Brazil or whatever the
I
hell,
wouldn't even, you're going to be there? I'm not going to be there.
You're gonna
I will
wuss
take,
out.
I will take my money, and then you go with whoever's doing the bet, and you go cut your leg off. I'm out of the equation now. I got my 10 mil.
No, I gotta be
Or
there
3 mil.
with the your spouse.
No, what are you going to
and she's
stand there and
crying.
hold the person's hand? No, I'm not, dude. That, like, why would you do that?
Well, the evil millionaire wants it.
He didn't say that. You got to
No.
make yourself less available.
Yeah, he's filming it. Just turning it into a show.
And then they were going to
And
take
then
the
you
leg.
make more money off the show than you paid me.
And they were going to take the leg, and then they're going to formaldehyde it and put it on his mantle, right?
yeah.
Special
And,
individuals.
I thought about doing it too.
Do you know who's doing this bit now? Mr. Beast is doing the old leg bit now.
yeah, but he's
Everything's cyclical.
Tamed it down.
Everything's
Yeah.
cyclical.
Well, Mo, thanks so much
Thank
for
you
coming
guys.
in. We appreciate
Oh,
it.
how's Chicken Parm going? Where have you been hitting lately?
It's good. Where did we go last? I don't remember. We went to some fancy place on Sand Lake that was really good.
Do you
but
have a running like list of all the how many parms have you tried?
I think we're close to. We've been doing it for like a year and a half now, so like 75, 80, something like that.
Wow,
Nice.
80
And-
parms.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we're putting
God.
together a website, moeatsparm.com.
Are you really?
Yeah, we are. We're working on it
I
right
hope
now.
you get more rich from that.
Yeah, I hope you have to quit law. You know?
Yeah, that's a comedy.
Yeah, I used to be a lawyer. Now I'm just a fat guy who eats parm.
No.
Yeah, but your audience, your millions of
"Parm,
followers.
parm,
you know. But then you're like, God,
But you
I'm
hate it.
I'm in a
Yeah.
parm prison.
Yeah.
Just get sad at
It is
home.
a parm. You hate it. You're like selling all the merch. You're dressed like parm.
You're like, and then behind the scenes, you're like, I can't eat one more goddamn bite of
and
this.
you're jumping Gravedigger dressed as parm. You're like,
Yeah. But you're so rich. So,
Yeah.
you're driving.
And Tom's watching you, one leg. He's rich though. I don't know what happened.
Well, I spent it all
Well, of course.
immediately.
Yeah, on what? Chinese fentanyl.
Yep.
That's what he did.
Well, my leg hurts. Anyway.
You still have your Corvette with flames down the side, so
See,
it's all worth it.
It all came around. Do we need to bully Bustecker before we get out of here?
Okay, well, yeah, Bustecker. So what?
Do we need to talk about the
what's some
roast
other
or
event-
anything?
Okay.
Do we need to plug the roast or anything? It's sold out.
I think so. Yeah, it's sold out.
Okay,
so
yeah. So nothing. Hold on. Let me turn on this camera so
So-
we can see Bus. Hold on, Bus. Hold on 1 second, buddy.
Okay,
No, you're good. You're
Here's
good.
what you guys need to do is you need to become a VIP at justcallmo.com. Get your card because Mo puts on a ton of events and let you guys know. He does dinners all the time. All these VIP members are getting dinners, free events. And
Free
stuff.
cruise. We're giving away a free cruise.
Free
on Mo.
cruise.
Yeah.
You got to be a Just Call Mo VIP member.
Yeah, and it's
No,
free.
it may be a Victory Casino cruise, but we're not telling people that. No, it's
Well,
actual
free's
free
free.
cruise. Yeah.
A cruise is a cruise, man. That's what I'm saying.
And you gotta pay the dock fees and the taxes. So it's like $380.
Maybe you could just take him on a cruise on your boat.
There we
Tom.
go.
We've done that. Do you know we've done this?
Really?
He's done cruises with listeners.
Yeah, they don't even want it.
3 times,
I
and you
wouldn't
know
want it.
2 of the people have died
Really?
No,
before
one,
they
on the
could,
boat?
No,
No.
before they
No.
could collect it. It's almost like it's the curse of the monkey paw or something, right? It's like if
Maybe
you-
they just didn't want to go on a cruise with Tom, and they just.
in the monsters bidding for bowling or whatever, he bid on one. The guy died before he could collect, and then one of our listeners died before they could collect.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's.
You also
it
take a
makes
long
you feel
time before
bad
you can collect.
when you're like, hey, come out of
waiting
my
them
boat, and then I'm constantly bugging them, like, hey, when are you gonna come out the boat?
Yeah, and then
Like,
you get a text
they're
message
like,
from
"Ah,
the
God."
wife, and she's like, "He passed away." You slowly put your phone
Are you
down.
just trying to get friends? Is this your way to?
No, I'm
have somebody to
it was
hang out
for
with?
charity, Bustecker.
All right.
Anyway, so what other events you got coming up?
Well, we got the beer fest, so we'll
Yes.
be there for that. We'll be there at the couch races.
Yeah, thank
Nice.
you to Mo for sponsoring both events.
We got a Just Call Mo holiday party coming up. If you're a VIP member, you'll get an invite.
Oh, really? Well,
It's going to be at the Enzian Theater. We're going to show a movie, and Santa's going to be there.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude,
Santa.
I want to go to that
Yeah,
one.
you're
That's-
invited.
The
You're
Enzian, I love the Enzian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What movie are you gonna show?
Elf.
Oh, Elf!
Yeah.
I'll bring my sons to
Yeah.
that. But
Can they
kids
sit through
allowed.
an hour and a half, or are they going to be bored?
no,
We'll feed us
They'll have their
alcohol.
pads. It'll be fine.
they'll be playing Roblox. in the
That's
background.
fine, whatever.
If you give them that, they'll do anything.
Yeah.
They'll go anywhere.
By the way, are you going to employ birds to get rid of birds? Like, I feel like you're just going to have the hawks hitting people in their faces.
Falcons.
You're just introducing falcons.
They're,
Falcons.
they're
No, you-
tied to EJ's arm, pecking
right.
crazy.
Okay. All right.
It was like, you know,
He's fine.
And
It
now that I
just
think
seems
about
like adding more birds to the equation.
Well, then we
is not
sell
a
them
good
Falcon
idea.
insurance in case something gets hit with a
Yes,
Falcon.
yes.
Oh, Falcon
They have
insurance.
talons. Like, if you get hit by one of those, your eyes are.
Oh, look, we got
out.
Napoleon Dynamite over here.
Just telling you.
Give me some of those tots.
I can throw a football. I can throw a football over the mountain.
That's his uncle. Anyway, so subscribe, become a Mo VIP.
Please.
Yes, sir.
It's free. JustCallMo.com. Mo, thanks so much for sponsoring
Man,
our events.
always a pleasure seeing you, buddy. Boss, always a pleasure seeing
Thank
you,
you.
too.
Yep. And we will see you soon.
I like that. I like that. Boom. Nice job. Where's that one go?
That's going to go Tuesday 3
Okay.
right now.
That's fine.
Just as a placeholder, I'll organize
Roast is
it.
tonight, so good thing we didn't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I figured it was going to be,
Coincidentally, I do have a Shannon Burke joke in my roasta.
All right.
Nice.
To those,
Oh,
I was going to explain that to
I
Buster.
have 2 extra tickets if either of you 2 want to go.
I wanted to go, but I'm going to stay home.
Alright.
I was at a concert with my son last night. I'm already hungover.
I wanted to go, but I'd rather do
Who'd you guys
anything
go
else.
No, I wanted to go, but I need to spend some time with my wife.
And then, so
Where did they play?
at UCF,
that's
Addition
gonna be-
Financial, whatever.
It's going to be a heck of a good time, though.
What is Addition Financial? Is it
Bank.
Credit
it's just
union.
a credit union?
Same thing.
I think it used to be something else, didn't it? Was it like
It was.
It was RP funding, right? No, it was, or was it?
Fairwinds?
Fairwinds?
No, it's still Fairwinds. It used to be something else, I think.
The bank or the arena?
The name of the credit union.
Oh, it might have been.
I thought it was something different.
I think 'cause there was one in 1702. I think it
Yeah.
was a different name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Why not change the names? Nobody cares.
Can you? I think last year we were just make sure we're by power.
I heard you.
Put me by some power so I can make some popcorn this year again.
TC, he needs power so he can make popcorn this year.
Yeah, 100%.
This should be easy enough though. They should have put more boxes this time.
I have a long extension cord though too.
Cool.
They have
Well, you're a tall guy.
And then all we need
I
to do
can't
is
stop
let
doing
Tracy
that.
know.
It's just like it never stops.
Her
This is
and
what my
Dom
wife
are
hates.
one
Is
putting
it's just
everybody on
constant,
that
constant.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna put on the on just a little scene change here and give you some music. So we'll be right back.
Oh no, all that's the same.
Hello, we're back. Let's get rid of that. All right, we're back. We got the Science Center in today, guys. Let's make sure all of our cameras are working well and our guests look good. All right, boom, that looks good. It's awkward too when we're off air and I'm setting up cameras because you guys are like looking into it. I've never thought about how awkward that is for people.
I always look awkward, so it's
no,
okay.
Jeff, you look fine. Our guys, like when they see you, they're like, oh, we know exactly who that guy is.
He's going to tell us to go to the OSC website.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and if he doesn't, it would be weird, right?
Exactly.
Until he doesn't have to do that anymore, you know? All right, that looks good. All right, that looks great. Can everybody hear okay?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit? Can you hear okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear myself.
Great. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Less or more, or?
Maybe a little bit less of myself.
All right, let me do that over here. I'll go. Now try.
Hey, yeah, that's better.
That better?
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Thanks.
You got it, man. It took us, how long did we say? It took us about 20 years to perfect telling everybody what to do. Because normally, you say, yeah, you guys just sit down. You're supposed to know how to do this.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Van, would you like to begin?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. Grab this. Check, check. Perfect. In 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube, and we'd love it if you join us. Just head over there and search for @Tom and Dan Live. Like, subscribe, hit that alert button so when we post new videos, you are the first to see them.
All right, I'm excited about this because the Orlando Science Center is opening up a new exhibit on November 1st,
Okay.
this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And it's called To the Extreme, and it's about skateboarding and the science behind skateboarding.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Hey.
And we've got the founder of SkateBud and nonprofit, Zach Modoff, is here. How you doing, Zach?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Thanks for
Good.
being here, man.
So,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Jeff, let's talk about the actual exhibit
Yes.
first. So tell us about To the Extreme.
To the Extreme is a really cool setup, and what it does is it talks about how math is involved in everything. And math is connected to things that we all think are really cool, like skateboarding and snowboarding and animation and music and robotics and space exploration.
Yeah.
So To the Exhibit is a series of simulators, activities, presentations, where you get to do all kinds of cool stuff, create music, design your own skateboard, snowboard down a mountain, predict the weather, operate robots on Mars. And at the end of that activity, it is showing you the math involved that makes that possible. So you walk away from it having an awesome time, getting to do all this cool stuff, but then understanding why math is important.
Yeah.
And so it's a really great exhibit that we have at the Science Center that we'll have through the end of the year. And we were trying to think of ways to get people to really experience it, because when you say, hey, come see our math exhibit.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Well, the chat room is saying, we have people in our chat room right now saying, I'll quote, To the Extreme section was my favorite part.
Awesome.
We had some people that went and did some costume partying with
yeah,
you.
we had a Halloween party recently, and thank you to everyone that came out for that.
Yep.
That was a fundraiser for the Science Center, so we really do appreciate you coming out.
Some of our listeners got to actually use the simulators and
Okay.
things like that, and you're getting high marks, man, so that's good.
That is wonderful. I love this exhibit. It's a lot of fun. It's big. It's bold. It's colorful. And that science message runs through it in the best way, because people are learning while having fun. And we thought, what's the best way to really blow this up? And we're like, let's bring some of this exhibit to life. And that's how we got connected with the Zach at SkateBud.
Nice.
Every time someone says To the Extreme, I want to say, To the Extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal, light up the stage and we jump like a candle. Dance!
Yep. Marketing.
That's pretty good.
Anyway.
The dance was the best part. I don't even know if that's what's said there, but I mean, I think it is.
So let's talk, Zach. Let's talk about some of the physics behind skateboarding, because we all know it's kind of like, yeah, we know physics is involved, gravity is involved,
You
but
don't
we
think
don't
about
think
it.
about it when we're watching
Friction is involved.
Yeah.
You don't think about like something like I know as a kid, friction, you know, well, you would either buy the expensive bearings and beg your dad for, when I was begging for bearings, I would not get the expensive ones. But that's all science, right? The friction, if your bearings are rolling your wheels better, then your skateboard goes faster and it's smoother and it feels better, right?
Yeah, along with just the measurements of the equipment itself.
Yep.
That's such a fundamental. I think for me, coming back to skateboarding as an adult, I got hurt and couldn't skate for like 10 years. And then started skating again, and I was like, wait a second. This is way more complicated than I understood when I was a kid.
Right.
And the big realization that I came to that seems to get very controversial when I bring it up online is people often say an ollie is you jump and you pull the board up with you. But that's not what happens at all. You're actually bouncing the board off the ground and jumping in time with it and then pushing down against it to level it out. And when you say that online, it triggers something deep in people.
Yeah, no,
it's
100%.
always been I'm jumping.
What
the hell are you talking?
You're saying I'm not pulling the board up, and it makes sense when you think about it casually. But then,
Zach, tell me if you think this is true. I think what changed the respect level the world had for skateboarders is slow motion camera work. Because once you see what someone does when they're doing an impossible flip or even a kick flip in slow motion, like HD slow motion, you're like, oh my God, this is super complicated. I can't believe this person. Because when you see...
Yeah, red cameras are your friends.
Because back in the day, like in the 90s and 80s, you see some grainy footage of someone doing a trick. You have no idea what it took to pull this trick off.
Well,
absolutely.
If you also think about it, you just touched on something that was even popular back in the day. What tricks back in the 80s would have signified dominance, right? Slower tricks, like a hold, like a handstand, and you'd go and you'd stunt with your board on your feet, right? But the only way we're able to recognize it as humans is if it's slow enough for us to recognize it. So if you think about it, those were the and then as things got quicker, I mean, obviously street skating exploded. You got kids using the city as their skate park.
Well, I think you're both right there that there's a few interesting things happening where video makes a huge impact on skateboarding, both in the effect that when you get to high-speed video and people can actually see the nuance of what's going on, I think it certainly becomes more profound.
Yeah.
But before that, when you had YouTube exploding, skaters were some of the first people that really made YouTube good.
Yeah.
Right? And that drove that. But before that, you go back and you think about the first wave of prosumer video equipment in the early 90s. Skaters are the ones that took that and made a global industry from small businesses, right? You're talking about cottage industries, folk are operating at a global scale.
Yeah.
And you also have those skaters at the same time in the early 90s going out and exploring the city in a way that wasn't common. People didn't go out and be like, we're going to go get some content over in this unknown portion of the county with our friends. But skaters did, right?
Yeah.
And then they shared those videos. They went around the world. There was all this stuff happening that was so profound. And now that I think the perspective of skateboarding has just been enriched. Right? It's all these different and the Olympics, and people are seeing the effect that it has on maybe kids who come from difficult circumstances, right? And they might not be well served by traditional services. They really adapt to skateboarding in a productive way from a social services standpoint. So you get all these ways to see skateboarding and understand it that before it was just, it's bad kids like doing bad stuff, destroying property, right?
Let's talk about this because the 2025 parent in me, I've got two sons, right? I would love for my sons to get into something as hard as skateboarding because
it's like jujitsu. It's got that varying level to the degree you never master it, right? So you never master skateboarding.
So you show me an accomplished skateboarder. I'll show you a person who doesn't give up. I'll show you an insane, hardworking grinder that gets obsessed.
I see what you did there.
With a goal and completing that goal, and they'll spend all day trying to complete this goal, grind it out over and over and over and over. Until they finally make it all for nothing, really, just for their own personal sense of accomplishment.
It's a trick for something called a trick.
I would love for my sons to have an ounce of that grit, and then wanting to do something based on your own sense of accomplishment and stuff. And in the way we look, I'm sure now parents are like, man, I'd love for I was playing Roblox on their phone, like get out there, exercise, have like a goal to do,
exactly.
Go do some math on the streets.
Back in 95.
That's exactly what it is.
Some dad in 95 was like, get a job. And I'm like, get a job. These people are working hard as hell. Like, I wish my sons worked this hard every day. And so I think that's a lot of it too. Like parents and people are looking at skateboarding for generally how hard it is, how much like effort it takes to get good at, you know, like in this.
Well, you've always said, and one of the things that I like the most, and you touched on it, was the determination, the stick-to-itiveness, for lack of a better term. You know, my mom always said that. But I like watching those videos where you see the guy who's trying to ollie the staircase and land it in a way, you know, that is perfect and good and smooth. And you see 75 times him not
It'll be
do
like
it.
day 4.
Yeah.
Day 4.
Those
This kid's been going back here 4 days in a row.
But in a weird way, it's the same thing that scientists do when they're running the numbers 75 different times.
100%.
Day
Because
4, right?
human beings are about problem solving,
Yeah.
right? And when we get into good loops of problem solving that give us good chemical rewards, we'll just go on forever.
Yeah.
And that's what skateboarding does. When you come to skateboarding at a younger age, as you're developing and looking at the world around you, at least this was my experience, and it holds true for millions of other people, it teaches you good processes for being dedicated, being self-actualized, not looking for an authority figure to tell you what to do next. If you complete a task, you say, was it done to my standards, or am I going to go back again and do it better?
Self-policing.
Right?
Yeah.
All of those things are inherent in skateboard culture. And I think at a time when the rest of society was more organized and structured and limited, and going into the home meant you were being closed off from outside influence, skateboarding kind of jived with society in a different way. But now, when you're talking about you go into the home and kids are being susceptible to all sorts of influence that is not productive, and they're now in a circumstance where you have to incentivize good behaviors that will lead to a productive, long, healthy life, right? Where you're battling with the phone. The phone is giving them chemical rewards so quick and so easy.
Oh, it's a main line.
they love
it's
it.
a main line, man.
Right?
Right into
And
the eyes,
skating can
right into
compete.
the brain. Yeah,
Skating competes with that.
Yeah.
It pushes back, and
Yeah.
it's like, actually, this is cooler than just getting lost in the phone. Go do something really cool that you can then put in the phone and share with other people who do the same thing, and they'll be like, hey, let's meet up and go to this place you never heard of.
Well, it's so much easier playing the video game, Zach. It's so hard, guys. Hot
just want the
outside.
chemical.
It's hot outside. You're telling me I have to do this over and over, and I fall down sometimes? No.
It
not-
is so much more rewarding, though, than the cheap.
Absolutely. And the best tasting wines, what do they come from? Not like the richest, most rewarding soil. It's the most struggling grapevines that make the best tasting wines.
Preach it.
So now we can all agree that we would all kill all the parents out there listening for our kids to be skateboarders. So we go, Zach, I'll pay you $5,000 if you can get my kids to get out of the house and
He's not
skate.
kidding.
I mean, be careful, bro.
He's
I will
not-
go to
he's
the
not
bank.
What I do for work.
He's not kidding.
I will pay you cash. The government doesn't even have to be involved.
He does run a nonprofit.
Yeah. This could be an off-the-books donation to the nonprofit.
If you could force them to get out there and skate, I mean, anyway, so we all agree that we'd love for our kids to be involved, and let's talk about like the actual physics of like in this exhibit and your nonprofit, and like let's start with there. How'd you start the skate bud?
So, I have one of those, I'd say now it's a typical internet story where I had a tough childhood. My dad was a criminal defense attorney, brought a lot of violence into our household. My parents are addicts, and they didn't set the proper boundaries for me to grow up and have a safe childhood. And by the time I was 13, I was already very interested in committing crimes for fun, because that's what kids were doing down in South Florida in the early 90s.
I grew up in South Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah.
He was a South Florida crime kid, too.
There you go.
I went to Killian. I grew up in Kendall.
All right.
I was a Deland hillbilly kid.
We probably passed each other doing crime.
What if you guys? Oh my God!
Yeah,
what if you were doing crime on one side of the street and he's doing crime on the other side?
My dad died when I was 10 years old, so I just went to do crime because I was like, I'm on the Miami streets.
I
now.
grew up in a hillbilly Christian household, and my parents died early.
Aw.
But so, and I'm sure that's a movie right there. Your criminal defense attorney dad has a son that's out there doing crime.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was just normal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you were down there and you were a young person and you weren't involved in something organized and you just didn't fit in,
yeah.
then what did you do? You go and you run around with your friends, and very early on you get in trouble for something, and then you associate trouble and fun, and then it's by the time you know it, you're hanging out with kids who are breaking into cars and stealing guns to sell at school,
100%.
right? Like,
oh wow, you're advanced.
But-
mind.
I mean, this guy's just tooting a little bit behind a dumpster. I mean,
yeah.
this guy's having a cigarette.
Yeah,
you know?
they spray paint a little bit.
Yeah, I was just hanging out the science.
Yeah. We know what you're
I
Jeff.
can't
Jeff-
contribute here.
Yeah.
Jeff is totally.
I was in the suburbs and
Jeff
playing
was
at
a
the science
motivated
center.
young man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
His
sure.
His
And
parents,
so
his parents. Jeff's like, stay away from those Miami kids.
My whole view of skateboarding was Christian Slater and Gleaming the Clear. That's
yeah,
all
all
I had.
right,
That's
hey.
all I had.
the healthy side.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So, like, growing up and then seeing, and then you're right, especially in the 90s, like, we saw there's a ton of
Cocaine cowboys.
Yeah, and disenfranchised youth
yeah.
that had nowhere to go and just hit the streets, and they're skating, and society's yelling at them, you loser. And meanwhile, you're like, I'm doing something extremely hard every day and trying to
Yeah.
get better at it. And
It wasn't
exercising.
framed that way,
No,
though.
it was like, get a job, you loser, you're bum. And it's like, these people are, again, going back to today's society, they go out there outside and do something hard over and over until, it's amazing.
With no reward really,
Yeah,
aside
yeah.
from the chemical reward internally, the camaraderie with your friends.
You learn how to film yourself and edit so you can film your skateboard. Like all these skills that you're learning, like, get a job. What the hell?
We learned how to
Society was mad at 'em.
navigate before we even had. There was no Google Maps. It would be like, we want to get to a place, and you figure out how to drive there. So for me, getting access to a skateboard the first time just in my neighborhood, it was a way to have a level of personhood. And like, I was just so
independence. Yeah,
I was
man.
so infatuated with being able to get these magazines and learn ideas from people that weren't approved by anyone
We're
around
a
me.
Thrasher or a Trans World?
All of it. Thrasher, Trans
Didn't
World,
matter?
Big Brother.
Yeah.
I wanted, if there was skateboard media, I wanted to consume
That's how
it.
I was. I had no allegiance to surfer or surfing or anything. I wanted all of them, man. Give me all the magazines.
You know how hard it was to learn how to video edit in the 90s? There was we had to read, like, there was no,
No,
like,
you'd have
the
to
library
figure it
didn't
out.
have it. You
Yeah,
have to,
No.
2 VCRs together through your camera,
Jeff knows.
one at a time.
Yeah, and you'd have to be
But that's
careful because
amazing.
one slip of the finger,
You
maybe you
start all
recorded, or you recorded over your
Yeah.
footage. I
Very
remember.
true. Yeah.
Cosplay.
like,
Start all over.
It's amazing these kids learned how to video edit without any internet telling them, and they just figured it out over months, and they share
Problem
information.
solving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
problem
Yeah,
solving.
yeah, yeah.
You're just, all right, I'll try it again.
I've never really thought about the parallels between modern day experiments and just learning a trick. I've never thought about that.
Try it again.
Yeah.
And that's where, for me, that really resonated because I was already way overstimulated, should have been in therapy from a long time before that, was not, probably should have been on medication, all kinds of stuff. It was just like, yeah, pretend that's not happening.
Shout out to
Yeah,
therapy
yeah.
and
Right.
medication right here.
So,
yeah.
which I later in life
Well,
get
the parents in
exposed
the
to that
90s
stuff.
are like, don't talk about it.
Yeah, that's a
If you
secret.
talk about it, I'll lock you in the basement. I'm like,
Basically.
I won't ask, you don't tell. That's the 90s.
Yeah. So that was the first level. And then after that, when I got a license, there was a private indoor skate park that opened in a closed down Walgreens. It still had like the same linoleum floor, everything. Is called 2theXtreme in Pembroke Pines.
I'm familiar.
I went there and connected with kids from other parts of the county. And that was when it really shifted. Because even those kids in my neighborhood that I was skateboarding with, they were on a path of the similar, like, getting in trouble, except that their parents had regular jobs. We're bringing regular people around the house, not murderers, not drug smugglers, not wild felons, not the stuff that they were exposed to, their family secrets that, like, comes out in your bad behavior. I was on a path of, like, potentially killing someone or doing something outrageous because from a young age, I was exposed to stuff that, we don't need to discuss the specifics of it here and now. It's like things that you see in movies, right? And to not have that kind of support from my peers where they're going home to parents who are like very, very privileged, right? And that's not to put it down, but it's like you have enough money to where the money can really help to create a home that's safe for your kids where you're not necessarily involved at such a granular level. and getting in touch with these kids from other parts of the county where their home, their relationship with their parents was much closer, where it's like, hey, I know if I don't keep you out of trouble, you're going to get in trouble because of the circumstances of the world around you.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Can I
well said.
complain about how good kids have it these days now? Because you could find your group of people so easily on the internet. Like back in the 90s, we were like, no one's like me. And you look out there like, oh, that's true. I'm lonely. Because it was harder. You'd have to actually go and find someone. You'd have to go to the skate park and then realize like, oh, all these kids are like me.
I was the only skater at my school, right? And we were lucky to have adult skaters who were like, we're going to open this place that's going to bring people together. And it was only that time where it became meeting people from other parts of the county that really set off this level in me of like, because before I was obsessed with skateboarding, right? I was in a state of not understanding a lot of things, and then skateboarding opened my mind to a lot of other aspects of personhood, identity, society, relating to other people, making friends, moving through the world in different ways. And going to the skate park made that real, where it was like I felt like what I was seeing in the magazines and the videos, this lifestyle that people were living became my lifestyle. And it drove me to say, like, I was not the best kid in my neighborhood at skating by far. Like, of the, you know, the locals in our scene, I was nowhere near being like, oh, like, watch out for whatever Zach's gonna do, because if you have to go after him, then forget it. After that point where I started hanging out with these other kids and it shifted, all those kids that I had grown up skating with, I like blew past them, and whoever was the best, like whatever level they were at, it was like way beyond. I moved so far beyond it. And that was in part because I was putting myself around these people that were way better than any of those guys, and going out and saying, this is what I'm doing all the time. I'm hanging out with these people who understand life in a way that makes sense to me, and we're all just encouraging each other to do the hardest thing we can possibly do, and each of us does it a little different. And I was lucky to have this amazing crew of dudes just from different parts of the county, and I had a car, and I had a gas card from my dad because I was from a privileged part of the county, so I was like, where are we going? And we were just, every weekend, just gone.
How interesting is it, Zach, that you are doing something that every parent would want their kid to do, which is surround themselves with other people that are better than you at something you want to get good at. So then they encourage you. You rise to their level.
It's kind of what Maisie does at dance.
It's everything. It's what everybody wants for everybody. Like, you know, it's like it's a insane life lesson to learn that is so valuable. And you learn to skateboarding at a time where people weren't even looking at it like this. It's crazy.
And you know what's really shocking is that right now government really understands that, right? Because the things that government is being tasked to deliver, or institutions like the Science Center are being tasked to deliver, they're seeing that it's not me, right? Like, I didn't come up with that. That's skateboard culture. And when you're a part of skateboard culture, that's what happens to you. You get mentorship, you get guidance, you connect with people who aren't from your immediate circle, you connect with people who expand your idea of the world, you connect with ideas and things in this context, right? Where it's not just abstract in a book, this thing unto itself. It's these group of people you share a lifestyle with are sharing guidance and information. And that's so lacking in our society. It's such a fundamental aspect of skateboarding. And it's amazing to see the turn now, where I'll never forget the first time my wife's from LA. That's where we started our business. We got paid by the mayor's office to go out and do skate programming. And it's like, I'm setting up, we're putting up a banner, right? Like a big, like 12 by 8 for a photo backdrop. It's just graffiti on it that says skateboarding over and over and over again, right? And then it's like, we've got pro skaters that we paid to come out there, and then an assistant and a photographer, and the assistant is helping people who don't know how to skate. And we've got a bunch of product to give away that we bought from local small businesses, which are skate shops. And I was like, hold on. Like, let's take a step back, because I remember being put up against police cars for doing way less than this. Right?
Sometimes just having a board makes you a suspect. I remember being downtown DeLand, and it was frowned upon. And I remember I just had it. And it's like, I hope you're not going to ride that on the sidewalk. And I'm
Already
like,
a
well,
focus of attention,
yeah, I'm
right?
like, I don't even think I put it down, you know?
Well, that society, and we're all watching Clueless, and Who's the Losers? And the kids with the skateboards.
Like, thanks a lot, Hollywood. You really made us look stupid.
Right?
And by the way, these actors, I know they can't skate. Like, I can tell.
What was that kid's name? Brecken?
Yeah. Like,
Breckenmeyer.
Breckenmeyer. Yeah,
Yes.
Breckenmeyer can't skate.
Yes.
Well, maybe he could a little bit.
And then-
I don't know.
and
He
then
had skater hair.
Yes, enough for one scene.
Yeah, he had skater hair.
And let's not be, ignorant. Like a few bad apples too. Like then people are like associate like, oh, well, this person has no respect and he's intentionally breaking the law or whatever, and then lumping all skateboarders into that, and it's ridiculous.
Oh,
but
that's one of my
media,
biggest pet peeves. Anytime you go and look, this is not a challenge. Like this can be like a abstract form of entertainment. Go to any news site and look up skateboarder. Anytime someone commits a crime and they have a skateboard, oh, that's a skateboarder, right? Like imagine if anytime someone committed a crime with a gun, oh, that's a gun rights enthusiast, right? Like that's
it's marketing. Yeah.
Every time someone in a car commits a crime, oh, this is an automobile enthusiast committing these crimes, right? Like this is someone who races cars. Like the assumption there that just because the person used a skateboard, I saw a headline the other week, a mom or a grandma and an 8-year-old walking through an intersection in New York, and the kid is on a skateboard and the skateboard slips out from under him and hits a guy in the ankle. The guy turns around and slaps the woman and the kid in the face. The headline makes it sound like, oh, a skateboarder attacked someone.
Yeah,
Right.
That guy's got some balls.
It's like, oh.
Slapping a parent in the I would never did think of them doing that.
I mean, that's a different level of like a kid's
God
skateboard
damn.
slips out and hits me in the ankle, and I slap the kid, I slap the mom. I'm like, that's what you get.
What is that? Oh, Sean Connery. It's like, God damn.
Walpole Jr.
Yeah, but you're right. I think nowadays in 2025, like a lot of that stigma's gone, and then all of us as parents, like anything to get the kids off the screens and get out there, do some exercise, learn some physics at the science center, surround themselves with positive people that want to make you better, and then it all goes into like anything can be done in a positive, healthy way that makes you a better person, and skateboarding for sure is one of those things. And I would say on the top of a list of things you could do to make yourself a better person, because any skateboarder I know, I'm like, God, that guy's got grit and he is determined and he is like doing something physical all the time. It's like there's so many benefits to it. Anyway.
When you look at the Venn diagram of personality traits that get cultivated by being involved in skateboarding, it's creativity, dedication, self-policing, right? Like social bonding, looking at the world in a different way. There's all these skills that I think people would want to have that skateboarding inherently teaches you not to understand at like an abstract way, but to really embody. And I think one of the things that I really liked about the exhibit is that it takes that and it describes it from the math side and from the science side. And it says, okay, here's how these different size components affect how the board works, right? And when you take a step back and you think about that, when you go to try skateboarding and you're going to decide whether or not it's for you, and are you going to get hooked in, and are you going to really wind up in these productive chemical loops of problem solving, it comes down to, do you have the right equipment?
Yeah.
Is the equipment going to function in the right way? Because if you're trying to do these very precise, nuanced motions that cause the board to react in a way that's super duper controlled, you can't be off by more than a fraction of a millimeter, right? You have to really understand it, and you don't necessarily get that when you come into it without the prompting of math. And the exhibit can be so great where it can just raise that level of awareness. And it's not that anyone needs another reason to be like, hey, math is actually an important subject to learn. Right. It's, people can't really live very long being like, oh, I don't need math. You're not going to get very far.
I've tried that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
But even if your kid or yourself are not into skateboarding, this exhibit will give you a greater appreciation for skating, watching skating, like knowing the physics behind it, how difficult it is, learning about it, it will just give you, it'll make it more entertaining watching skating. You know what I'm saying? Like, because then you're like, oh, wow, it's harder than I thought.
I like what you're touching on, too, of like the aspect of going to the exhibit, taking it in, and then figuring out why certain equipment works certain ways, like the size of a wheel, the material being softer. Does that give me like for me, I would imagine I want big wheels and soft wheels on a big board because that's going to make me go fast and straight and not going to rattle my knees. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly.
And I like that idea of like, because one of the areas where I kind of blossomed as a musician is when I started getting into the physics and the actual science of how my drums sounded, you know, like how to tune them correctly, the tension, you know what I mean? Like
having control, right?
It unlocks a whole different world when you know why your board works, and then you can diagnose problems with your board. You can figure out, like you said, do you want to go faster? Well, you need to use these. If you want to go maybe slower, you want to use these. Maybe your board's not the right size. Maybe the pitch of the size of your board is wrong. I don't know.
Skating is a giant game of control, right? It's about having control over myself and control over the board in a way that I'm getting super focused and then giving myself a chemical reward. And when you have control over the information and you're able to understand how to get a different outcome, how to problem solve this scenario, and if you're going, oh man, I'm trying to learn this trick and I can't get it, I can't figure it out, and then you say, you know what, maybe I'm going to try slightly wider board on slightly skinnier trucks. You know, there's all kinds of ways that you can configure the board, and that's maybe one of the ways that the freedom of skateboarding and the need for self-actualization backfires is there's no default skateboard. You can go into a shop and pick all the different components.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, skaters in an effort to not be prescriptive on other people can fail to provide good advice, right? It's not often that you'll go into a skate shop and get bad advice. It can happen, but a person who's running a skate shop is not necessarily going to be there to help you problem solve and troubleshoot all the ways that different components will interact to give you a different outcome, because it could just be that you need to switch your wheels to get that outcome, or maybe you need to switch your wheels and add risers, or maybe you need to switch your wheels and add risers and also get a board with a longer tail. There's you know, all these little things.
Skate scientist, man, I love this. Yeah. It's like it actually is exciting. That unlocked a lot of stuff for me when I was skating. Like I remember, because I'm 49. What unlocked for me is when the mini boards came out. Like that, I had a Psycho Stick Mini, and it got stolen. But that board felt so much better. I'm a little guy, so this board, I was like, dude, this thing is so much more controllable than the. Before that, I had a big full size Gator board.
Yeah, but shaped like a fish.
Yeah,
That's how old this guy is.
Gator board, the one that was like, you know, and said Gator in the center, and it was big and ginormous, and I'm like little bitty guy. When I got that little Psycho Stick, I was like, oh, this thing rules, man.
Like, why are you shaped it like a fish?
Well, it's, you know, that's the wheelbase, right? The amount of most people know, right? You look at the top of a skateboard and you can see the 8 bolts, 4 in the back and 4 in the front. That space in between is the wheelbase. And depending on how tall you are and how long your legs are, that affects how big your wheelbase should be. Because everything that you're doing is essentially within that space. And once you're going too far out of that space, you don't have the correct control, or if you can't effectively operate within that space to create the right leverage, the tricks won't work. And now for little kids, when they're starting, there's all kinds of different sizes and scales of boards, and there's all kinds of information on the internet that tells you, like, hey, if you're under this size, you want to have a board that's under this height. Like, we get the proper size boards from the company that we work with, Sidewalk Skateboard Distribution. They have a brand called Push, where it's all these different scales of boards for the smallest kids, right? Up to like, okay, you're a teenager, but they have a whole brand now that's just dedicated to people being
What if you're like Shaquille O'Neal? Did they make a jumbo board?
Probably is hard to find.
No, and now that's the other thing too. So like Cordano Russell, a Canadian, he's from the Canadian skate team, Olympic team. He was working with Paul Schmidt, who's the Floridian who created the contemporary skateboard shape, engineered it, plus the manufacturing process. They worked together to make a stronger board for Cordano because he's like 6'5", 250 pounds. So he's breaking boards like
this guy's Dak Prescott. Jesus. Good God.
Skateboard LeBron.
Yeah, he's a big dude, you know? So they figured out a way to make boards that are way stronger, where it's about I think it might be an 8-ply board. It could be a 7-ply board, but it was mostly about changing 2 or 3 of the plies within the board to where it's like, I think 2 of them are hemp or something. And it's like where they're placed and the angle of the grain. There's the level of engineering in the contemporary skateboard is like we all thought it had been pushed to the max, but then this need for Cordano and his bigger body took it to an even crazier place.
There's a new one I don't even know if you know about, and I don't want to run out of time here, but in South Korea, I pulled the story to talk about for something science, but there is a South Korean scientist that has figured out, and they think skateboarding will be one of the first places this will be used. He's figured out how to treat wood and cellularly change it so it is over 100 times stronger than the actual wood.
Oh, really?
He treats it with chemicals, and it takes so it's still wood, but whatever chemicals he treats it with, it changes the cellular makeup of the wood into a much stronger, different bond, and it makes the wood, it looks exactly the same, but it makes the wood 100 times stronger. And in some cases, they said that this wood will rival steel in how strong it is.
Whoa.
Which may not be good because maybe it doesn't flex. Maybe it doesn't vibrate.
And that's a big part of it. I know from a lot of stuff Paul has said. It's that it's not just that it's strong, it's the way it bends. Because a lot of what we expect from the contemporary skateboard is that springiness and the bounce. Right? The ability to bounce off the ground.
You don't have that. It's like drumsticks when they started, not to go back to drumming, but these are like only 2 things I know. There's a company called ProMark, and they make drumsticks. And they started making these oak drumsticks. And they feel great. They're really heavy. But man, when you hit a rim shot with one of them, that thing is going to rock your damn wrist. I mean, it hurts, because it doesn't have the flex of like a Vic Firth, of like a Hickory or something like that. It's a little too, to me, it sounds great, feels great. But man, when you hit a rim shot, it's not a pleasing feeling. It's not, and imagine your knees landed on this treated wood. But they thought maybe that you could use this wood for like skateboarding or for like making wooden bicycles.
Paul would know. If anyone knows, it would be Paul.
That's cool.
So Zach, I got a question for you. So it just like, obviously the internet and social media helps market skateboarding, right? But it also hurts it, I think.
Yeah.
And in a way that like kids are being exposed to the best tricks in the world and montages of them, and tricks that it took someone, a decade to learn. And then we're just seeing it in a montage of 30 different times. It took like collectively hundreds of years for these people's lives to learn these. And then so when the kids start, and then there's hard to even
it's discouraging
ride on the board, and then like ollie, it takes so long that they get discouraged so fast because they're like, oh, I can't do this. This is impossible.
Yeah, how do you combat
getting it out of context is certainly it's not productive, right? When you're experiencing skateboarding in the context of skateboard culture, that's productive. Not only because you have someone explaining to you, yeah, that person worked for years on that 2-minute video part. But also, one of the things I've realized through our nonprofit is when people try to skateboard the first time and they do it on their own without other skaters around them, that's the people that get hurt. Because you're used to walking and using friction in a way to control yourself, and the skateboard takes all that friction away. It causes you to move instead of like front to back, side to side. So it's also a kind of muscular awareness that we don't engage in to move our bodies. So someone will go to stand on a skateboard and think that they're going to catch themselves when they start falling, and then they actually fall worse because it's not the predicted outcome with how they relate to friction. So there are so many downsides to getting exposed to the pinnacle of skateboarding without being somewhere in the context of a skateboarder that you can turn to for some insight. And I think that's what made it great, and it was automatic in the time when I found it. And that's one of the things that the industry struggles with, and I think skateboard communities are struggling with, skate shops are struggling with. People will go, they see it online and then they buy it on Amazon, and it didn't get to be this great thing because people were buying it in big box stores. It got to be this great thing because everyone who participated in it bought their first skateboard at a small business that was owned by a skateboarder, right? And I think it's not that we can't have that, And technology creates all kinds of productive ways to do that. It's just that in the skateboard industry, there's never been a technology impetus. And on the technology side, there's never been any kind of good alignment with skateboard culture. And that's one of the things that I work hardest on through our work with government, is to just say, if anyone can correct this, it's government, it's institutions like the Science Center. When we're at this moment where skateboarding is being brought in and people are seeing it at a huge scale, if we keep it accurate to the cultural standards, we'll continue to get the benefits that we've got, right? But what I tell people is everyone used to enter through the skate shop. Now they enter through Amazon, right? But they enter through Amazon and the skate park. So then it's like, how do skateboarders start to interface more with the government so that we're not in charge of the programming at the skate park, but we're kind of the authority over what that programming should look like and feel like.
Well, it still surprises me nowadays. Anytime I see the government build like a public skate park, I'm like, what? It blows my mind because I grew up in the 90s, like skating in the 90s.
That was
I'm like,
not a thing. We didn't have any. Behind
they were the enemy.
Behind the Winn-Dixie is all we had.
If you'd have told me in 95 in Miami, like one day the government will be building skate parks for you guys, I'm like, no way.
Right.
No way.
I still remember going over to a buddy of ours. He had a ramp in his backyard, and we went over there, and he wasn't home, and we hopped the fence to skate it. And,
anytime the parents
the
were
neighbors
cool,
called the cops.
They came home, and that kid, he was gonna get me good, man. We got out of there so fast.
Okay.
When the dad,
and it was like, I don't skate enough. I don't skate fast enough to get away from this kid. I'm gonna have to hold my board and run for it.
We grew up like the dad building the half pipe for their son.
That was the King Dad. That was King Dad, though.
But
That's
every once in a while, you get some anomaly. Be like, what? Your dad built you a half pipe?
No, that was this kid.
Right.
You be like, oh my God, I can't believe he even let you skate.
Right.
You know why it was, though? It was kind of what you're saying. It was because Dad skated.
Yeah.
Or Dad surfed. It had to be adjacent. You weren't going to get just rando business dads. Like, I'm going to build you a skate park.
You grew up,
that ain't going to happen.
Okay, you grew up in Miami. We used to go out to 3 lakes, and they'd build a half pipe in the woods, and it would be in a dangerous...
Yes, that was the thing. Put a tarp on it.
Building a half pipe in the woods, and then you'd skate on it, and it would be all like splinter crazy. Like it's just open to the elements, but that's where you'd have to go to the woods to skate.
I feel like every community had some mythic half pipe.
Yes, in the woods.
Right? Because that's the only place that it could go.
Yeah.
It's either that or at the house of a kid whose parents skate or whose parents were that cool that they were like, hey, we love you and you're our kid and you love this thing, so we're going to encourage it. It was like, that was not...
How ridiculous is that we're in the 90s, we're like, what? Your parents love you.
But now it's so easy.
That's crazy.
Now you can take your kids to the Science Center.
Exactly.
The easiest thing you can do.
And that's the cool part about being at the Science Center, because we can show the science and everything, and we are so psyched to work with Zach and Galactic G. So we want everyone to come out this Saturday, November 1st, so you can meet Zach, some skaters from Galactic G.
Galactic G's been doing it in our city for a very long time.
29 years.
Big
longest
love
running
to
skate
Galactic
shop
G.
in Florida.
I've bought shoes from there because I don't skate anymore. But let's just say, those guys are doing it right.
And not only that, rest in peace to Ken, the owner. He just passed away. He made Galactic G into a place that embodied that idea of skate culture.
100%.
We're mentoring young people. We're making it welcoming and accepting. Like, oh, people are going to say you're a bad person. You're a POS. You come over here and we treat you like a good person until you give us reason to believe otherwise.
True.
Like, and that's what's so great about skateboard culture when it is embodied by someone who runs a small business like Ken. When that becomes your skateboard experience. And that's why I feel so fortunate to be able to go out to the Science Center, and they're not just like, hey, some rando person pop in, right? They're putting on this exhibit that's going to bring people out to have an interaction with skateboarding, and Galactic G is a part of that, right? Like,
that's awesome.
The people that you're going to see skateboarding out front, they're not just whatever skaters. They're people who are involved in making this skate community what it is.
That's
here
like
in town.
our community skate shop, I feel like.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, that's as neighborhood as it gets. And working with OSC, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Well, again, To the Extreme, it's an exhibit opens.
I almost did it. I almost did it again.
November 1st, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. become a member of the Science Center.
Yeah.
And
You learn about things before other people. You know, you get discounts when special things arise, and you're going to need it. One day you're going to have nothing to do, and you're going to want to pop by the Science Center.
Yeah, and check out.
Man, if you got a kid and you're not going to the Science Center, you're messing up.
Yeah, no,
we've
I've been taking
saying
my
this for
sons
years.
since they were born. I've been taking my sons to the Science Center.
Because
They love it.
listen, I normally like you got to do the activity and the food. But every time I'm like, all right, that's all in one. I can go down to 4 Roots, and it's going to be a nutritious, balanced meal. I don't have to say, oh, I'm going to eat something that then I'm going to later be like, all right, I got to just go to sleep.
The cafe at the bottom of the Science Center is really good.
We never,
Yeah.
Like,
we
it's
should
all-
touch on that more.
Yeah,
Jeff. I'm
we
sorry.
probably should. Yeah. John Rivers from Four Rivers opened the Four Roots Cafe down in the first floor of the Science Center. That is fed through his Four Roots Foundation and his Four Roots Farm campus. Everything is really farm to table. Some great
High quality.
sandwiches,
Nutritious, good
wraps,
tasting.
bowls, good stuff. And so come down Saturday, November 1st. Make a day of it. Meet Zach. See these awesome skaters from Galactic G. We're going to have some cool activities with fingerboards that you can play.
I love
You can
fingerboards.
build your own cardboard skate park. Check out To the Extreme, the exhibit. It's going to be a really awesome day this coming Saturday,
Love it.
November 1st.
Awesome. OSC.org. Just become a member. That's the easiest.
Yeah, we
Zach,
just-
thanks so much
Hey,
for
pleasure
coming.
meeting you. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
having
You
me.
gave us some stickers and some like some skateboard books. Thank you so much, man. Pleasure meeting you.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it, and we will see you on